ended up working 189 and a third innings, a career high for Harvey. 188 strikeouts on the season, including the 11 he had in his last start of the regular season against Washington. Harvey in 4 August starts had a 0.33 ERA. Had a couple of rough outings in early September, but overall, in his last 11 outings of the regular season, Harvey posted a 2.15 ERA, and Terry Collins wanted Harvey out there tonight. He knew Game 3 would be the swing game in this type of series, all tied up at 1, and it's the Mets ace, Matt Harvey, out there on the mound tonight. As Howie Kendrick gets ready to head toward the batting box to open Game 3 of this National League Division Series, we hand it off to the radio voice of the New York Mets, Howie Rose.
All right, Wayne, thank you very much. And that upcoming first pitch is presented by Empire City Casino. Come play electronic blackjack and 3-card poker now at Manhattan's closest casino, Empire City Casino. Game on. And truthfully, Matt Harvey getting the start in Game 3 has been plotted out for well over a month now. The Mets knew that in a 5-game series, they'd only have Harvey once. And Terry Collins has said for a while now that third game is the pivotal one. And, well, he didn't necessarily have to be prescient to know that Harvey in a third game would be huge. But when you consider all the emotion that the Mets are feeling right now, the anger has no doubt morphed into a different level of enthusiasm. And I'm looking at Don Mattingly right now being talked to by the home plate umpire Greg Gibson. And the immediate question everybody has here, are warnings being issued? Gibson, in going out to talk to Matt Harvey, is now being joined by the entirety of the umpiring crew, including the crew chief, who is Gary Cedarstrom. Cedarstrom, the second base umpire, and they're all headed over towards Don Mattingly. And I don't know if they want clarity on whether or not there are formal warnings issued or whether there's something else going on that we need to find out about. But I would imagine, Wayne, this has to do with warnings.
All 6 umpires, Howie, in there talking with Don Mattingly right now, huddled around Mattingly up near the third baseline. And Mattingly pretty animate about whatever he's discussing. If it is warnings on each side, that really inhibits both pitchers.
Well, yeah, and I would also think that that would have been taken care of while the umpires were meeting with the managers just a few moments ago. Now, I saw Mattingly looking out towards Harvey for a moment, and I don't think there's anything about Matt's equipment, his glove, or anything else that would precipitate what's become a rather passionate discussion. But now Gary Cedarstrom is heading towards the Mets dugout, and Terry Collins is on his way out. And I cannot believe, Wayne, that if this has anything whatsoever to do with warnings, whether they've been officially issued or not, that this wasn't hammered out a few minutes ago during the pregame meeting at home plate. That would make no sense.
And now the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson, is out near the pitcher's mound discussing things with Harvey and Travis d'Arnaud. A few umpires talking with Terry Collins as he now goes up the first base side toward the back end of the Mets dugout.
You know what? Let me interject here something, Wayne, because now I see Terry going over to talk to Kevin Kierst, who's the Mets equipment manager. Before Harvey started to throw warm-up pitches, just as the Mets were taking the field, I saw that Terry was talking to Dave Burney, who is the Mets assistant clubhouse manager. So I have to think this might have something to do with equipment, whether it's Harvey's glove. I don't know if it's got something to do with the logo on it that's not necessarily an MLB sanctioned logo. I don't know. And unfortunately, now we're left to do guesswork. But I think this has something to do with equipment between Terry having spoken first to Dave Burney and now to Kevin Kierst.
Harvey now taking more warm-up tosses on the mound. Don Mattingly still near the Dodgers on deck circle as the umpires now huddled together. A Major League Baseball official is down there on the first base side now with the umpiring crew. Harvey just standing on the mound, tossing more warm-up pitches, trying to stay loose. Some serious gamesmanship from Don Mattingly, Howie, if this does indeed have anything to do with an equipment issue. You don't see that brought up too often, especially before the first pitch is thrown. This crowd's about had it with anybody in Dodger blue.
Well, Don Mattingly is now being spoken to by Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief. And that Major League Baseball official is going back down the steps into the Dodger dugout. And I think after all of this, We might actually be ready for a first pitch here at 8:41 Eastern time. And so because of the late start, these fans have been in their seats, at least those who have bothered to sit down, because it seems like everybody's been on their feet for the last little while for a long time. But finally, we're good to go. Harvey into the windup. The first pitch of the game to Howie Kendrick is over on the outside corner. A fastball at 95 for a called strike one. Now Howie Kendrick has been, and now the home plate umpire asks Matt Harvey to flip him the ball, and Greg Gibson will toss that over towards the Mets dugout for posterity, as that was the first postseason pitch ever delivered at Citi Field. So I think we've got all of this mishigas out of the way, and we can finally get a game in here. 0-1 to Kendrick, who's been a hot hitter. Harvey deals a fastball line foul down the right field line out of play, and the count 0-2. Harvey cranking that up to 97. And when people wondered, would Chase Utley play tonight? Well, it probably would have been at the expense of Howie Kendrick, who's hit .347 over the last 25 games. So here's the 0-2 to Kendrick. Little chopper foul off a fastball, rolling to the left of home plate. Mets fans, whether you're on the way to the ballpark or just driving around listening to the game, we want you to be with us for all the excitement. So don't text, don't call, just drive. A reminder from the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission. Put your phone to bed and visit justdrive.com. 0-2 to Kendrick. Here's the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball left side. Backhanded in the hole by the shortstop. Flores throws to first in time. One away. So Kendrick grounds to short. And if all it takes is 6-3 in your scorecard to produce this kind of reaction, who knows what will happen if the Mets score a run here.
And Jimmy Rollins has not been forgotten about.
No, and you have to wonder if he thought, hey, what about me? With all that hatred being poured towards Chase Utley, when Rollins was announced in the starting lineup, he must have felt very much at home, because he, of course, going all the way back to 2007, when he proclaimed his Phillies being the team to beat after the Mets had run away with the division the year before. Well, Rollins wound up winning the MVP that year, but he's been an enemy here ever since. Switch hitter batting left, takes the first pitch, fastball low for ball one. Mets defensive alignment delivered to you by Seamless. Seamless, how New York eats. Duda at first, Murphy at second, Flores at short, right at third. 1-0 pitch, fastball pulled hard on the ground foul down the first base line. 1-1. Cespedes, Lagares, Granderson left to right of the outfield, and Darno catching Harvey. Jimmy Rollins, as a Dodger, played 4 games this summer here at Citi Field. The 1-1 taken on the inside corner, a called strike. Slider at 91, and it's 1-2. And in the first 3 of those 4 games in July, Rollins hit homers. One of them was against Harvey. Orange towels being waved. The 1-2 pitch inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A fastball at 96. One thing about Matt Harvey, generally he pitches up to the moment. Working from the first base side of the rubber. And Rollins calls time. Generally, the bigger the game, seemingly even the better that Harvey is. And the shackles have been removed for this one. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. There's a curve in the dirt, and Rollins swings right over it. Harvey has his first strikeout. 2 men away, and Adrian Gonzalez will be the batter. Now, the umpires, and something tells me they may be a key factor tonight, sponsored by Lincoln Technical Institute, always offering the best lineup of career choices. Get started today at LincolnEDU.com. Again, Greg Gibson has the plate. Chris Guccione at first. Crew chief Gary Cedarstrom at second. Chad Fairchild at third. Alan Porter on the left field line. Jim Wolf the right field line. Adrian Gonzalez takes a fastball for a called strike. 0-1. Gonzalez had what really turned out to be the big hit, the game-winning hit on Saturday night off of Addison Reed. The 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball fouled straight back out of play. It's 0-2. It was a strange night for Gonzalez. He struck out his first 3 times and then doubled home 2 runs to put the Dodgers up by 2. First time in postseason history the guy who had the game-winning RBI did it with an extra base hit after striking out 3 times. The 0-2, breaking ball low inside, 1-2, and that's after Gonzalez had punched out 3 times in game 1.
One thing Harvey's made a point to do here, Howie, something we didn't really see from DeGrom or Syndergaard, was miss out of the strike zone with that breaking ball, get these Dodgers hitters to chase a little bit.
Rollins did. Now it's 1-2 to Gonzalez. The pitch high with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Justin Turner, the former Met, waits on deck. The infield is swung over to the right. It's not an overshift, but Murphy is out about 10 feet into short right field, maybe 15. Left side of the infield, shading towards the second base bag. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball pulled on the ground to first. Duda's got it. He'll trot to the bag in plenty of time. Side retired. Harvey gets the Dodgers in order. Middle of the first inning at Citi Field. Dodgers nothing. Mets coming up. From the video room to the dugout to let the teams know whether or not they think it's worthwhile to challenge a call. Well, apparently that phone in the dugout on the Dodgers side was not operational. That's interesting. A little espionage, but it's been fixed now. So Brett Anderson faces Curtis Granderson. And the first pitch breaking ball is over for a called strike, 0-1. Granderson off to a good start, 4 out of 6 in the first 2 games, and 5 out of 12 against Anderson, including a homer. The 0-1 fastball taken to the knees for a called strike, 0-2. Brett Anderson, a very, very quick worker. And the Dodgers now are going to take Justin Turner, the third baseman, move him to the right side of second base, keep Rollins home at shortstop. So 3 infielders on the right side for the Dodgers. And Anderson with an 0-2. Little chopper straight down foul at home plate, hitting Granderson in the leg. Anderson 10-9 with a 3.69 earned run average. Made 31 starts this year, and for him that's huge, because he has been battered by injuries over the last few years, beginning with Tommy John surgery. The 0-2 bouncing ball foul right to David Wright in the on-deck circle to the right of home plate. Anderson had his Tommy John surgery in the summer of 2011. Made it back briefly the next year, but in 2013 he missed 4 months with a foot fracture. 0-2 to Granderson, taken off the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And then last year he only pitched in 8 games because he had a broken index finger and had back surgery. He's just glad to be healthy. The 1-2 looped foul off to the left of home plate and into the seats behind the Dodger dugout. So, Wayne, it turns out that Anderson threw more innings this year than in his last 3 seasons combined.
And that's huge for the Dodgers to have that other left-handed starter out there, especially with the way he's gotten ground balls this year.
We'll have another lefty starter out there tomorrow, regardless of how this turns out. The 1-2, Granderson pops it in the air, foul down the third base side. And so Don Mattingly said before the game that win or lose tonight, it'll be Clayton Kershaw tomorrow. I was a little surprised by that.
They've done that before. They don't mind having Kershaw on 3 days rest.
The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball chopped slowly towards the mound. Anderson barehands it, sets, throws in time to get Granderson 1 man away.
Really nice job by Anderson there. That took a funny bounce off the grass. Anderson was going to his glove side. The ball kicked back to his bare hand side as he made the play.
That's a lot of spin on it, too. You try and pick up that ball with spin. There's no guarantee you're going to field it cleanly. So a nice play by Anderson. And David Wright will be the batter. And let's look at the Dodgers defensively. They have Gonzalez at first, Kendrick at second, Rollins at short, and Turner at third. Crawford, Hernandez, Ethier left to right of the outfield, and Grandal catching Anderson. David Wright had a rough night on Saturday. 0 for 4, hit into 2 double plays. First pitch driven in the air, foul down the right field line, 0-1. But he's always hit left-handed pitching well. Even though it was a shortened season for Wright this year, he hit .351 against the lefties, and for his career as a .340 batter against them. No score, 1 out, nobody on last of the first. The 0-1 pitch. That's over for a called strike. 0-2. Anderson with a slider. Not a big sweep to it. Nothing slurvy about it. Just a tight little slider. Doesn't have a lot of hard downward bite. The 0-2. Fastball away. He tries to hold up. He did not. He goes around. They appeal to first. Chris Guccione says strike 3. So Wright has been struck out. 2 out, nobody on. And it'll bring up Daniel Murphy.
They did appeal there. David Wright didn't seem to have too much of that swing go through, but Anderson gets a rare strikeout, not something that he's accustomed to necessarily. Doesn't punch out a lot of hitters.
We're coming to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth here at Citi Field, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea, an American classic for 70 years. Lefty against lefty, first pitch to Murph, fastball low and away for ball one. Murphy 1 for 4 in each of the first 2 games of this series. Now the 1-0. Fouled right off of the catcher Yasmani Grandal on the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Murphy led off the 4th inning of game 1 with a home run against Clayton Kershaw after hitting just 1 home run in 126 at-bats during the regular season against lefties. And he'll see Kershaw tomorrow night for the Mets. Well, we're still not 100% sure it's going to be Steven Matz. The 1-1, Murphy takes a fastball for a called strike 1 and 2. Yesterday, it seemed that Matz was going to get the ball regardless, win or lose, after DeGrom had thrown 121 pitches the night before. But now Terry Collins is hedging a little bit. Here's the 1-2 to Murphy. Fastball chopped foul off his foot. Terry wanted to talk to DeGrom, see how he came through that start, and whether he'd be inclined to take the ball on 3 days rest. Certainly if the Mets season is riding on it. Should the Mets win tonight, then it's in all likelihood going to be Mets tomorrow. 1 and 2 to Daniel Murphy. Cespedes waiting on deck. Anderson from the third base side of the rubber delivers. Fastball just off the outside corner, 2 and 2. Mets are wearing the alternate blue tops tonight. A little surprising. I believe Matt Harvey favors them, though. And the Dodgers in their traditional road grays. The 2-2 on the way. Breaking ball looped in the air. Shallow center. On comes Hernandez. Reaches up, makes the catch. He almost overran it. But that retires the side. The Mets go in order into the end of 1. It's the Dodgers nothing, the Mets nothing on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Dodgers went down in order in the first. Righty against righty, the first pitch, slider, and it's off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes to Turner, who has gone 2 for 4 in each of the 2 games of this series. And since becoming a Dodger last year, remember the Mets non-tendered him after the prior season, he's hit the Mets well. The 1-0 pitch, foul back to the screen. Harvey got in on his hands there with a fastball at 96, and the count 1-1. Turner, a .318 hitter with 8 doubles, couple of homers, 6 RBIs, and 146 at-bats against the Mets. That's pretty serious damage. And he loved it here. That might be a message. The 1-1, fastball down the middle, a called strike, 1 and 2. 96 on the fastball, and here come the towels, and up come the fans. This is some sight. We've waited 6.5 years to see this. 1-2 pitch, just off the outside corner, 2 and 2. Harvey tried to clip that outside edge at the knees at 95, but just missed. Ethier on deck, Crawford to follow. 2-2 pitch, swinging a hard ground ball up the middle, past the diving Murphy and into center field for a base hit. And Justin Turner, who's been a very difficult out for the Mets, leads off the second with the first hit of the ball game. Turner at first, nobody out, and Andre Ethier coming up.
Turner's been a difficult out for most of the National League ever since he's left the Mets, and now 5 hits and 9 at bats to start this series.
Visit your Tri Honda dealers and check out the Honda Accord with available blind spot detecting lane watch. The only thing you won't see coming is the great price. Check it out at TriHondaDealers.com. So now it's Ethier. 1 for 1, couple of walks on Saturday night. Left-hand batter. Harvey's first pitch. Tries to hold up. He goes around. The pitch was out away. A fastball and the count 0-1. Ethier had a very good end of the season for the Dodgers. Yasiel Puig was up and then down with an injury, and so Ethier's become pretty much an everyday outfielder again, as he was earlier in his career. Harvey holds the set. Now the 0-1. Lined over short. Back goes Flores into center field. Base hit. Lagares picks it up. Turner to second. He'll stop there. Back-to-back singles by Turner and Ethier. And the Dodgers are brewing here in the second. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Carl Crawford. We'll pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
I'm Lauren Garrett, WOR New York. 1 killed, 6 hurt when a truck crashes into a building in the Bronx. Details after the game.
Howie Rose, Wayne Randazzo with you at Citi Field. With this series tied at 1, this is game 3. We're starting the second inning, but the Dodgers, with hits by Turner and Ethier, have runners at first and second, nobody out for Carl Crawford, who's gone 0 for 7 in this series. He's been late on some fastballs, particularly up. Harvey checks the runner's first pitch. He shows bunt, but fouls it back to the screen. 0-1.
Mets were ready for that bunt, right? Playing very closely at third.
As Monty Grandal, who was a severely slumping hitter, the number 7 batter, is on deck. And then a guy who's been a pain in the neck to everybody over the last couple of months of this season, although he missed a good chunk of September, but the last couple of months that he played, Enrique Hernandez. Outfield straightaway. Right tightens up at third. The pitch. Crawford lines it past right. Base hit going into left field. Taken by Cespedes. Turner to third. He'll stop there. Ethier to second. On at first with his first hit of the series, Carl Crawford. The bases are loaded. Nobody out. And so Crawford bunting that first pitch. In doing so, drew the Mets corners tight. And David Wright had no chance to get that hit the other way from Carl Crawford.
And now Yasmani Grandal, who's had about 4 hits in the last month, in a big spot here from his power side, the left side, against Harvey.
So Harvey now really needs to muscle up here. Bases loaded, nobody out. The outfield straightaway. Grandal, 4 for his last 86 at the plate. And he was an all-star this year. Switch hitter batting left. First pitch. Breaking ball. It's over for a called strike. 0-1. Curveball at 85 miles an hour. Next time you need to send money, send it online at westernunion.com or with its mobile app. Send money online quick as a click with westernunion.com. 0-1 to Grandal. Right, even with a bag at third. Middle infielders at double play depth. The 0-1 hit towards first, past the diving Duda, base hit into right field. Turner scores. Ethier digging for the plate. He scores. The throw goes to third. It goes off the glove of Wright, and now digging for the plate is Crawford. Wright picks it up in foul territory. Has no play. Crawford scores. 3 runs are in. Grandal goes to second, and it is 3-0 Los Angeles.
Harvey went to back up the plate in that scenario, thinking Granderson might throw it home, so nobody was there to back up David Wright at third. Granderson's throw was way up the third base line, got away from Wright, and L.A. clears them all to take the lead.
So that would probably go as a 2-run single and an error on Granderson for allowing the third run to score. And the Dodgers have 3 in with nobody out off of Matt Harvey. And Kike Hernandez will be the batter. Right-hand hitter. Harvey's first pitch. Taken low outside, 1-0. And that is, in fact, how they score that. So 2 RBIs for Grandal. And the error on Granderson, allowing Crawford to score. Outfield around towards right against the right-hand batter. Now the 1-0. Swinging a high pop-up, shallow center. Going back, Murphy coming in, Lagares. Lagares makes the catch about 20 feet behind the edge of the infield grass. And holding at second is Grandal. So 1 man away. And now we'll see if Brett Anderson is up there to bunt. He does that well 9 times this year. 7th most in the league. And he's just 4 for 47 at the plate. So you don't always give up the pitcher here with a runner in scoring position, but considering how well he's bunted and how weak he's been as a hitter, they just might. We'll see. 1 away, 3 runs in. Harvey sets. First pitch, full swing, and a foul back to the screen. 0-1.
A few hits that Anderson does have in his career, half of them are doubles. So he can get into one here and there, and he did have 3 RBIs this season.
Wright is behind the bag at third, so no longer are the Mets looking for a bunt. And again, you don't often do it with one out. The 0-1. Swung on and missed. 0-2. Reason for that being, A, you've got a man in scoring position anyway. So a little bloop can get him in. And really, why give up the out when you move a runner into a position from where he cannot score on an out? So 0-2 to Anderson. Harvey sets at the letters. Now the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Harvey's got his second strikeout. 2 men away. Grandal still at second. And the batter now will be Howie Kendrick.
Well, if this was the game to fall behind in this series early, it would be this one if you had to choose, because no Kershaw, no Greinke tonight. You feel like the Mets will get their runs against Brett Anderson.
And we talked earlier about the shackles, so to speak, being off of Harvey. Terry Collins was talking about 120 pitches for him tonight. First pitch to Kendrick is swung on and missed. 0-1. Kendrick grounded to short his first time up. And he gets to about 110. And that's when he really get his temperature taken to see if there's much more left. But, of course, trailing by 3 early, that's a long way off. 0-1 to the right-hand batter. Now the pitch. Breaking ball waved at and missed. Kendrick badly fooled by the curve. And the count 0-2. So again, the fans begin to come to their feet. Outfield around towards right against Kendrick. He hit 9 home runs during the regular season. Harvey ready. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball line towards third. Caught by a leaping right. Side retired. David Wright with a nice catch saves a run, but the Dodgers do some damage in the second. They scored 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. Middle of the second, the Dodgers 3, the Mets nothing. Cespedes homered on Saturday night in Game 2. And the first pitch from Anderson, a fastball right down the middle for a call, strike 1. Home half of the second inning is sponsored by Sloman's. For home heating oil this winter, call Sloman's at 866 Oil Deal. 3 infielders on the left side for the Dodgers. The 0-1 line to the left side, picked on one hop by the shortstop Rollins. Long throw to first, safe. Cespedes beats it out. For now, assuming the phone is now working in that Dodger dugout, they may communicate and decide to take another look at that, because it was a very close play. Again, the Dodgers were stacked with 3 infielders on the left side. That was the shortstop Rollins going to his left. First look at a replay. What do you think, Wayne?
I think he's safe. Cespedes was really hauling it down the line, and now in a closer zoomed-in look, definitely looks safe. Rollins took his sweet time. It was a tough play as he had to scoop that ball to his left. Kind of got up into his hip a little bit, but after that, patted the mid once, took a couple steps, and Cespedes was busting it.
So the Mets have their first hit, an infield single. You can also visit the Sloman's booth at Citi Field to learn all about their convenient, low-priced home heating oil delivery. So Anderson now will face Lucas Duda in a lefty-lefty matchup. And again, Anderson far in sight to most of these Mets hitters, other than Curtis Granderson. First pitch to Duda. Curveball over for a called strike, 0-1. That is his out pitch, his strikeout pitch. It's a real good curve. And he's been throwing that since he was 14 years of age. His dad, Frank, is a baseball coach. In fact, he coached his son at Oklahoma State University. The 0-1, breaking ball on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-2. Frank Anderson's now the pitching coach at the University of Houston.
There's almost nobody on the left side of the infield. Rollins is the shortstop, and he's shaded up the middle. Everybody else on the right side. Yeah,
Rollins shading right towards that second base bag. Duda can't take the ball the other way. Now Crawford in left field moves several steps back towards the line. A throw to first, and Cespedes is back standing, but I'd say Crawford just took about a half dozen steps towards that left field foul line. In deference to, particularly with 2 strikes, the fact that Duda can hit to the opposite side. Travis d'Arnaud on deck. 0-2 pitch. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Lefties this year have actually hit Anderson much better than right-handers have, and in Anderson's career, lefties hitting close to 300 against him.
There have been 18 home runs allowed by Anderson this year, 17 of them against right-handers. Pitch to Duda. Swing and a looper shallow right. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Cespedes to second. Ethier tried to decoy him. Cespedes would have none of it. So Cespedes at second. Duda with 2 strikes on him against the lefty. Singles to right. And the Mets have runners at first and second. Nobody out. And Travis d'Arnaud coming up.
That's something we don't see a lot of from Lucas Duda. Not trying to do too much. It was a ball down in the zone. A breaking ball from Anderson. A nice easy swing from Duda. Just poked it into right field.
Well, Travis d'Arnaud is in a deep slump. He is 0 for 7 in this series. He struck out 3 times in 3 plate appearances on Saturday night. Overall, he is 6 for his last 54. And he spent a lot of time with Mets hitting coach Kevin Long in the cage today, early this afternoon. Right-hand batter, first pitch. Line to left center. That's up the gap. It's in for a base hit. Fielded by Hernandez. Around third, Cespedes. He comes home to score. The throw comes into Rollins. Duda stops at second. On at first with a single and a run batted in is Travis d'Arnaud. The Dodgers lead is cut to 3-1. And the Mets have the tying runs aboard with nobody out.
Well, like I said, if you're going to spot the Dodgers 3, do it tonight. You should be able to get something going against Brett Anderson. And just like the Dodgers in the top of this inning, 3 straight singles by the Mets. And here comes everyone's favorite, Wilmer Flores.
Well, we've wondered for a couple of months now, is there a script to this season? Because certainly Wilmer Flores has been a central character. And he was not going to play much in this series, but here he is now on the first pitch to him, taken high, ball 1. Terry Collins was content with Ruben Tejada's defense at shortstop. Flores, remember, did not play much late in the year between a stiff back and strep throat. But here he is, and the 1-0 to him is fouled off to the right and out of play. 1-1.
Got to be careful with Anderson's sinker. He does induce the double play ball. 23 of them this season, 8th most in the majors.
Flores last started a game on September the 30th in Philadelphia. So that's a couple of weeks now. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a foul right into that same area in that second level where there are several sections of seats just to the right and left of home plate. A great grab made by a fan in the front row. And so the count, a ball and 2 strikes to Flores with Juan Lagares waiting on deck. 3-1 Dodgers. Duda at second, d'Arnaud at first, nobody out. The 1-2 pitch. Swinging a chopper over the mound, charging Kendrick, the second baseman, gloves. Can't get a throw off, and then he hit the umpire with it, and everybody's safe. Well, the umpire is part of the playing field. And the second base up, who's the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom, was moving as Kendrick was moving in the same direction. And as Kendrick started to get that throw off, he was never able to fully extend his arm because by the time he let the ball go, it came out of his hand, and there was Cedarstrom to get a piece of it standing just to his right. And so the Mets now have the bases loaded and nobody out. An infield hit for Wilmer Flores.
And now Juan Lagares, who Terry Collins put into the lineup tonight instead of Michael Kadire. And Lagares up in a huge spot.
So Lagares, who hit .259 on the year. 6 homers, 41 RBIs, right-hand batter. Anderson delivers. Swing and a foul back to the screen. He had a big cut. And the count 0-1. Lagares was all right against the left-handers, hitting .273. But what the Mets wanted from Lagares was more patience. They envisioned him being a leadoff hitter because of his speed. But that didn't work out whenever the Mets put him up there. He only had a .289 on-base percentage for the year. So he's batting 8th tonight against the lefty. And the 0-1 pitch. Taken outside, a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. So due to the runner at third, a slow runner, d'Arnaud, faster but not by a whole lot, is at second. And Wilmer Flores, not a fast runner either, is on at first. So there's no speed to speak of on base for the Mets. Crawford in left field has a weak throwing arm. The 1-1, Lagares swings and fouls it back to the screen. It's 1-2.
That was the good Anderson slider there with that extra sink to it. Lagares lucky to get a piece, but now behind in the count. Hernandez very shallow in right center field, by the way.
That infield playing back is essentially conceding a run. They'll trade the run for 2 outs. Lagares has got to make contact here. 1-2 the count. Turner even with a bag at third. Anderson from the stretch delivers. Swing and a ground ball to the right side, fielded by Gonzalez. He comes home. Force play. Out at the plate is Duda. And moving to third is Darno. To second, Flores. Lagares safe at first with no return throw by Grandal. So he made contact, and yet they still didn't get the run home because he hit it right at the first baseman. And Adrian Gonzalez, don't forget, is a 4-time Gold Glover. So for him, that play was easy.
And a nice play by Gonzalez. Now Matt Harvey in a position where you'd almost prefer that he'd strike out instead of beating one into the ground, and what is an easy double play target at the plate.
Well, he does have a home run this year. That came against Arizona's Patrick Corbin. Right-hand batter, the first pitch to him. Fastball, that's at the knees for a called strike, 0-1 with Granderson on deck. So Lagares with that middle infield back at double play depth, hit it right to a Gold Glover on the corner. And it is still 3-1 Los Angeles. Outfield really shallow now against Harvey, all 3 outfielders. The 0-1, swing and a miss at the breaking ball, the slider, and it's 0-2. Harvey 7 out of 65 at the plate this year with 7 RBIs, including that home run against Corbin. Now Anderson sets. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Slider, did he go around? They check at third. No swing. The pitch was down and in the count 2-2. Well, when the Mets were as hot as they were for a good chunk of August and September, they kept the line moving, and they had big hit after big hit. Lately, that's not been the case. Remember, they had a run in with bases loaded, no out. Now 1 out, 1-2 to Harvey. The pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 3, got him with a slider, and there are 2 men away. And so now it's up to Granderson to keep that 1 run from not tasting as good as it should.
As we talked about earlier, Granderson really the only Met that has had any success against Anderson. One of 2 Mets that's even faced him more than once, along with Michael Cuddyer. Another reason why Lagares got the start today is because Cuddyer 1 for 12 lifetime against Anderson, but Granderson is 5 for 12.
So again, the Dodgers will overshift the infield against the left-hand hitting Granderson. 3 infielders on the right side. Turner stays close to third. First pitch on the way, hit in the air, deep to center. Back goes Hernandez, it's over his head, and off the wall! In comes Darno, in comes Flores, here comes Lagares, he scores standing! A double, and 3 runs batted in for Curtis Granderson, and the Mets have come right back to take a 4-3 lead.
You wanted this place to rock like Shea? This is the first chance it's got.
It's built a little differently than old Shea was, but if this place was ever going to sway a little bit the way the old ballpark did, this would be the time. And now here comes Rick Honeycutt, the Dodgers pitching coach, out to the mound. Well, Curtis Granderson clearly has been the Mets' best hitter over the first 2 games and 2 innings of this division series. And when he got to second base, he had a huge smile on his face, and he was rubbing his thumbs against his fingers to make the sign that we all do when we talk about money. Scratch, as though to say that's a money hit. And it sure was. The Dodgers took a 3-0 lead here in the second. The Mets have come right back with 4-3 New York, as Granderson smokes one off the fence right near the 380 mark.
And you know, Granderson had to be thinking about that error he made in the top of the second. Normally very accurate thrower with a throwing error. He only made 5 errors during the regular season.
So here is David Wright now with a runner in scoring position. First pitch by Anderson. Breaking ball in the dirt. Blocked by Grandal, and the count 1-0. That was the curve not the slider. Terry Collins has talked really throughout the second half of this year about the assorted values of Curtis Granderson. The 1-0 on the way. Hit hard on the ground toward short. Rollins to his left, scoops it up, throws to first in time, side retired. But the one thing that Terry said he'd want to see more of from Granderson is better production against the lefties. Well,
Gonzalez and Justin Turner here in the top of the third. Harvey threw his windup, first pitch. Rollins looks at a strike right down the middle, and it's 0-1. Rollins struck out his first time, one of two strikeout victims for Harvey. Harvey left leg kicked his 0-1. A breaking ball over the shoe tops of Rollins to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rollins not quite the player he once was. He had a .285 on base percentage this year. That was a career low. 1-1 from Harvey. Fastball upstairs, check swing. Rollins did not go around, according to third base umpire Chad Fairchild. 2 balls and a strike on Rollins. Left-handed batter against the righty Harvey. Mets lead 4-3 here in the third. Infield swung to the right. Harvey's 2-1. A strike on the inside corner, and it's 2-2. David Wright will now back up at third base, still playing well off the line, as Harvey's drawn even with Rollins. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out of the windup, Harvey, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A fastball up in the zone. Rollins chased. Harvey struck him out with a breaking ball in the dirt his first time. The high heater this time. And there's one away. Here's Adrian Gonzalez. The most popular way to follow the Mets in the postseason is with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat now. Gonzalez, the left-handed batter against the righty Harvey. Wind up first pitch. And a fastball runs inside. It's 1-0. When Gonzalez grounded out in the first inning, it was the first time in this series he'd made contact against a Mets starting pitcher. 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts against DeGrom and Syndergaard. 1-0 from Harvey. Fastball strike, outer third. Counts level, 1 ball, 1 strike. Gonzalez, though, does have 3 RBIs in this series. Those hits coming off of Tyler Clippard in Game 1, and a 2-run double off Addison Reed in Game 2. The 1-1, that's slapped away foul behind home plate. And now Harvey working ahead in the count on Gonzalez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a beach ball floating around Citi Field up on the left field side, mocking Dodger Stadium and every chance they get here tonight at Citi Field. As the Mets lead 4-3 here in the third. Harvey ahead of Gonzalez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Breaking ball low, and the count is even, 2-2. Gonzalez has homered in his last 3 consecutive playoff series. He has not gone deep yet in this series. No Dodger has. Harvey threw his windup, the 2-2. Inside fastball, and the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You see Gonzalez, you see danger, but the real danger in this Dodger lineup so far in this series has been the man on deck, their cleanup hitter, Justin Turner. Full count pitch. Harvey gets the side from d'Arnaud. Right pivot foot, left leg kick. Here it comes. In the dirt, ball 4. Harvey went to the breaking ball. Gonzalez didn't offer at it. And now a walk. The first one of the night from Harvey puts Gonzalez aboard in front of Justin Turner. Turner's the former Met. He's had so many nice things to say about his former Met teammates, including David Wright. Turner and Wright still keep in touch. Terry Collins has been very impressed with Turner and wasn't unimpressed with him while he was even with the Mets.
Oh, Turner loved it here. We mentioned that before. He was especially close with Ike Davis.
Right-handed batter. Turner stands in against Harvey. First pitch. Fastball runs away. 1 ball and no strikes. Mets middle infield at double play depth. Outfield shades Turner to right. They play deep. Turner has a penchant for extra base hits, especially the double. 5 for 9 in this series. He already has 3 doubles. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. Breaking ball. That misses away. 2-0. Harvey in the last 2 innings has just not been that sharp with his command. Not really missing out of the strike zone until the walk to Gonzalez, but just missing his spots. Now behind Turner, 2 balls and no strikes. Chest high stretch from Harvey. The 2-0. That's outside and low. 3-0. Andre Ethier on deck. Dodgers got 3 in the second on 4 straight singles, the last of which drove home 2. Yasmani Grandal brought home Turner and Ethier. Carl Crawford scored when Curtis Granderson misfired on a throw to third. 3-0 to Turner. And Turner swinging, fouls it off to the right side, 3-1.
Remember, last time Harvey pitched was 9 days ago, and he matched up that night with Max Scherzer. Scherzer was no-hitting the Mets. But Harvey has at times been a little uncomfortable with some of the gaps between appearances. A lot of that meant to buy some innings back from him and, continue to pay homage to the Tommy John recovery. Not tonight. No limits.
It's 3-1. Gonzalez a short lead. The pitch. Line toward third, past right, into left field. A base hit. Over to cut it off near the line is Cespedes. Gonzalez will hold up at second after a wide turn. Not wanting to challenge the arm of Cespedes. But now LA with runners on first and second. Only 1 out for Andre Ethier, who will bat after a station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Len Berman and Todd Schnitt in the morning have tickets to Mets-Dodgers Game 4. Listen to 710 WOR tomorrow morning, 6 till 10 for your chance to win.
With Howie Rose, I'm Wayne Randazzo in for Josh Lewin tonight. It's Game 3 of the National League Division Series, the first ever playoff game at Citi Field. It's been raucous here at times tonight, the orange towels waving over the heads of the fans that have sold this place out. But Matt Harvey has struggled a bit to the point that the Mets bullpen is active. Jonathan Neese is throwing. Harvey in 2 1/3 innings has allowed 5 hits. They're all singles. He's walked a batter here in the third. And now it looks like Bartolo Colon will join Neese as well in the Mets bullpen. The batter is Andre Ethier as the Mets lead 4-3. Dodgers scored 3 times in the top of the second. Mets answered with 4 in the home half. If Harvey's not sharp, you can't wait for him too long to figure it out. Righty to lefty, first pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Good pitch there to get ahead of Ethier. And it's 0-1. Dan Warthen came out for a brief chat. Mets pitching coach hoping to get Harvey settled. As the Dodgers threaten here in the third inning. Gonzalez at second, Turner at first. And the always solid hitting Ethier at the plate. Right way off the line at third. Infield back at double play depth. 0-1. That's down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike on Andre Ethier, a .294 batter during the regular season. But with the Dodgers seemingly having an overstock in the outfield, there were concerns for Ethier that he wasn't going to be in the starting lineup for very long. When Yasiel Puig's been hurt, Jock Peterson faltered in the second half. And here's Ethier maintaining his spot in the order. 1-1. Fastball inside corner, strike 2. Right at the bottom of the zone on the inside part of the plate. And now the fans will rise here at Citi Field with Harvey working ahead of Ethier 1-2. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Mets lead 4-3. Darno shuffles the cards behind home plate. Harvey's ready. 1-2 on the way to Ethier. Swing and a bouncer wide of first, foul. And it's still 1-2. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX. RE/MAX agents are trained to help you find the perfect fit wherever you go or wherever you're heading, locally or globally. Go to RE/MAX.com to find an agent for all the things that move you. Each office independently owned and operated. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ethier. 1 out, runners on first and second. Mets lead 4-3. Only the third inning. Chest high stretch, the pitch. Inside and low near the shins of Ethier. It's a late drop on that fastball from Harvey. Now the count levels, 2 balls, 2 strikes. While pitch count is not an immediate concern, Harvey is up to 54 pitches. Just 1 out into the third inning. Outfield is shaded toward left, except Granderson deep in right. Ethier a slightly open stance on the left side. Harvey first base side to the rubber. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A fastball on the outer edge of the plate. Ethier whiffed. And the 2 outs here in the third have come via the strikeout from Matt Harvey. It's now 2 away. And another dangerous batter at the plate. Another veteran who has had superior numbers in the past than what he's had this year. Carl Crawford bats with 2 out and 2 on. Crawford singled his last time, punched a ball through the left side after drawing right close with a bunt on the first pitch. First pitch here. Curve, swing, and a tip into Darno's glove, and it's 0-1.
Oh, you can see Crawford was geared up for the fastball there. But Harvey starts him out with the number 2, and Crawford wasn't close.
Almost spun himself around like a top chasing after that breaking ball. Now it's 0-1 on Carl Crawford. 2 out, 2 on. Harvey from the chest. 0-1. Swing and a foul back. Vicious cut. But now it's 0-2. Crawford, who during the 13 and 14 postseasons set a Dodgers franchise record with an 11-game hitting streak. He has still hit safely in 13 of his last 16 postseason games. And he added 1 to that total already tonight. But behind Harvey, no balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs, 2 on, third inning. Mets lead by a run. The pitch. Upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Crawford. Up and down have gone the Mets fans here at Citi Field tonight. Already plenty to be up and down about in the first 2.5 innings. Trying to cheer Harvey through a third strikeout in this third inning. A 1-2. Swing and a foul. Crawford jammed. He fouled it back. And he stays alive still. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Carl Crawford. So many great seasons for Crawford in a Rays uniform. Brief stop in Boston before joining the Dodgers. A lot of veteran leadership on this Dodger club, and really some aging players like Rollins and Crawford. 1-2. Upstairs again. Crawford laid off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We've seen Harvey at times tonight have a pretty good breaking ball. Gotta wonder here on 2-2. He tries to get Crawford to chase after one that's in the dirt. Randazzo is on deck. He had the big 2-run hit for the Dodgers in the second. 2 out, 2 on, third inning. Mets lead 4-3. Harvey reads the signs from Darno. Comes set, chest high. A peek to second. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That was the breaking ball from Harvey. Crawford went after it, and Harvey strikes out the side here in the third. The Dodgers threaten, but they do not score. They leave 2. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Murphy starts the third. First pitch out of the windup, and a breaking ball floats in for a strike. It's 0-1. It's time to Ask the Professor, sponsored by Rutgers University Continuing Studies. It's at transform.rutgers.edu for online certificate programs. 0-1 to Murphy. A fastball down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Easy one here, Howie, from Adam Choit. He's in Spain on his honeymoon. It's 3:30 in the morning. He wants us to wish his new wife, Erin, and him congratulations.
Holy cow. We're doing that now, huh? Yeah, sure. Happy anniversary.
His hashtag here is Dirty Utley. I don't know if that's a honeymoon term. 1 ball, 1 strike on Murphy. A breaking ball in the dirt, 2-1.
If it is, we're probably better off not knowing about it.
Murphy, with a career-high 14 home runs this year, a .281 average. He's been yucking it up in the press conference room throughout this series, including about 10 minutes today, the 2-1. Wave and a miss on an off-speed pitch from Anderson. And the count is level, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Murphy enjoying the spotlight. Why shouldn't he? He's been a Met since 2008. This is the first time he's had a taste of the postseason. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson's pitch. Murphy bounces one foul to the first base side, and the count still even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Question from Tom Finnegan: whose slide was worse, Chase Utley's on Saturday or Pete Rose back in 1973?
I think Utley's was. I didn't think that Rose's slide against Harrelson was all that bad.
2-2. Murphy rolls one to the first base side. It's off his foot and foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Murphy.
See, in 73, there was some bad blood because Buddy had made a comment when Matlack shut them out in Game 2, and they'd only scored 2 runs winning Game 1, that the Reds, the big red machine, looked at the plate like they were Buddy Harrelson in terms of hitting. And I think that Pete took a little exception to that.
2-2 on the way. Murphy bounces one wide of first, gloved by Gonzalez. He'll outrace Murphy to the bag. And Gonzalez records the out on Murphy for out number 1 here in the bottom of the third. Mets lead 4-3. And the batter will be Yoenis Cespedes. It was Cespedes who got the Mets rally rolling in the bottom of the second, legging out a base hit. It was a bouncing ball up the middle. Jimmy Rollins had to go to his left to scoop it. Took his time making the throw, maybe not even realizing how fast Cespedes is. And Cespedes able to get the infield base hit. Mets scored 4 times from there, and they lead 4-3 here in the bottom of the third. 1 out, nobody on. Anderson kicks and comes home. Cespedes takes a fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Cespedes, who had 17 home runs after being traded to the Mets on July 31st, waits for the 1-0. Off the end of his bat, lines to left center. Hernandez comes on, can't get it. A base hit for Cespedes. And the Mets have another man on. That's the 6th hit already against Anderson. Cespedes is 2 for 2. And boy, the Mets can dream if Cespedes starts to hit the way he was.
Well, they need him to replicate something close to what he was. No one can expect him to go on that kind of a tear again. But, you know, the 8 men they send to the plate and the 4 runs they scored in the second notwithstanding, this club has just not swung the bats well for several weeks now, at least not consistently, and they really need Cespedes to come back to some semblance of what he was then.
Here's Lucas Duda, singled his first time. Good piece of hitting with 2 strikes from Duda in that second inning. First pitch, breaking ball, misses down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Duda was behind in the count. Ordinarily, you see him still trying to swing as hard as he can, but he shortened up and just flipped a ball into right center field. It's the second straight hit for the Mets in that second. We're in the third. Mets lead 4-3. The 1-0. That's downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Cespedes at first. Infield once again pulled to the right. The overshift for Duda. 3 infielders on the right side. And Rollins shaded up the middle, leaving an enormous hole on the left side of the infield. 2-0 pitch. Instead, a throw to first as Cespedes goes standing up. Really, Brett Anderson is closer to the third base bag when he comes off the mound than any other Dodger infielder. Outfield is straight away for Duda. 27 home runs this year for Duda. He's at more in this ballpark than anyone. And on 2-0, he backs away from a curveball that might have been over the plate, but was called ball 3 anyway by Greg Gibson. And now Duda sitting pretty. It's 3-0.
I'll tell you what, I would turn him loose here. If Anderson tries to slip a get-me-over fastball by Duda, I think Lucas swings the bat if it's where he wants it.
Anderson comes set, chest tied, 3-0. Duda takes strike 1. It was a fastball up in the zone, outer half of the plate, not really in Duda's wheelhouse. He laid off 3 balls and 1 strike. I don't know that he didn't have the green light there the way he looked that pitch in.
Well, he wants that ball down and in, ideally, and as you said, that pitch was up.
Now 3 balls and a strike, Anderson's pitch. Wave and a miss. Anderson went to the breaking ball. Nasty pitch in a hitter's count. Floated that slider to the outer part of the plate, knee high. And now a full count. Do you run Cespedes here?
I would say no, because of the strikeout possibility.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Cespedes not running. Duda takes strike 3 on the inside corner. It was a fastball that tied him up. Good pitch by Anderson. Not a strikeout pitcher, but he's had 1 in each inning so far. That's 3 on the night. And Travis d'Arnaud will bat with 2 outs here in the third. Cespedes left at first. So the Mets try to add to their lead. It's 4-3. Here in the bottom of the third inning, Travis d'Arnaud put the Mets on the board in the second with an RBI single. It looked like that would be the only run for the Mets. First pitch. d'Arnaud hits one high in the air, deep to left. Crawford back at the track. It's gone! Home run! Travis d'Arnaud, and the Mets lead it 6-3. Anderson left a breaking ball up in the zone. He hung it, and d'Arnaud ripped it into the front row of seats in left field over the 358 sign. A breakout for d'Arnaud tonight. 3 RBIs, and the Mets lead by 3 here in the third.
At his best, he's a very aggressive hitter who goes early in the count. And on the first pitch, d'Arnaud takes Anderson out. And now it's the Mets who have the 3-run lead. And if d'Arnaud is starting to come around, 2 RBI hits for Travis tonight, early in counts, Wayne. And if that work he did earlier today with Kevin Long in the cage was along those lines, it's already paid 4 runs worth of dividends.
d'Arnaud hit that one off of Casey Stengel's retired number 37 up on the left field wall here at Citi Field. And this plays back into another frenzy as the Mets lead 6-3 here in the third. Rick Honeycutt done with his meeting with Brett Anderson. Now Flores. First pitch, strike on the outer edge, and it's 0-1. Cespedes has set the table twice for the Mets tonight. Now the 0-1. Flores lines it. Gonzalez catches it. Just to the right of Gonzalez, reaching out to grab that liner off the bat of Flores. But Travis d'Arnaud adds to the Met lead. A 2-run homer. And we go to the fourth. Mets 6, Dodgers 3. Brought home another. Matt Harvey to work with a 3-run lead. First pitch. And a breaking ball gets over for a strike. It's 0-1. Mark, all the talk about Chase Utley and that slide Saturday coming into this series. How do you think MLB's handled it to this point?
You know, I think they jumped on it very quickly, said very quick that they didn't want any nonsense.
0-1 is over the outside corner. Harvey ahead 0-2.
They even took the unusual step of meeting with the managers before the game today, so I think they took it very seriously, knew that there could be something going on, and obviously didn't want that.
Harvey has 5 strikeouts, the 0-2 pitch. Down and in with a slider, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Grandal.
Did we ever find out if there were formal warnings issued?
Yeah, I don't think there were, actually. I think it was more informal in that meeting.
1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball. This one down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Citi Field, I know, had a lot to live up to with the ghost of Shea. First playoff game here. How do you think the fans are doing tonight?
It's pretty amazing. You've got to give it to him. This is awesome.
2-2. Upstairs, Harvey's gone from 0-2 on Grandal to 3-2. As the left-handed batting switch-hitting catcher bats here against Harvey to start the fourth. Bottom of the order, Hernandez next. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, right field not carrying. Granderson waits for it to drop into his mid, a one-handed catch. And Grandal is retired. There's one away here in the top of the fourth inning. Mets lead 6-3. As we visit with Mark Carrig from Newsday, the batter is Kike Hernandez, who flied to center in his first at-bat. Are you surprised that Utley didn't get in the lineup tonight? Certainly his numbers against Harvey would have warranted a start for him.
You know, I think if you look at it that way, that there's a little surprise, but, you know, Utley's not what he was back in the day.
Hernandez takes a fastball up and away, ball 1. Neither is Rollins. That's why we saw Corey Seager the first 2 games of this series, but it's Rollins back in there tonight. 1-0. Hernandez takes a fastball that again slips low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Jock Peterson on deck to hit for Anderson.
Looks like Brett Anderson's night will be quickly over after 3 innings and 6 runs scored by the Mets. 2-0. Ground ball left side. Flores to his right. Backhands, plants, throws. Got him. Hernandez retired. 2 up, 2 down. Harvey has now retired 4 straight. And with Jock Peterson stepping toward home plate, the night is over for Brett Anderson, as he allows 6 runs on 7 hits and just 3 innings of work. We said it from the get-go when the Dodgers took that 3-0 lead, and it might be okay because Anderson was going to get scored on. He got scored on quite a bit in the 2 innings that followed, and now he's out. Peterson's in. Left-handed batting rookie with power to face Harvey here as Alex Wood is ready and throwing in the Dodger bullpen. In this postseason, more rookies have hit home runs than in any other. Already 11 home runs by rookie players. as Peterson takes a breaking ball in the dirt, although Peterson has not gotten into the act. As far as the Mets tomorrow, Game 4, if they win tonight, you still think it'll be Mets?
No, I think if they're facing elimination, it won't be Mets, but if they're not, then it will.
1-0. Mets outside, 2 balls and no strikes. If it does have to be DeGrom, what do you think his reaction would be pitching on 3 days rest?
No, I think he'd be fine with it. This is somebody who thrives on the big spot, and he doesn't show it with his personality, but believe me, he's into it.
2-0. A strike on the outer third. 2 balls and 1 strike on Peterson. Dodgers batting here in the top of the 4th. Mets lead 6-3. Game 3 of this National League Division Series. Harvey from the windup, the 2-1. Breaking ball, now a 3-1 count on the strikeout prone Peterson. He also walks a lot. That's how his .210 average has turned into a .346 on base percent. Infield pull to the right. 3-1 on the way. Outside, ball 4. Home plate umpire Greg Gibson took a long look at it, but Peterson coaxes a walk with 2 outs. Harvey's second free pass tonight, and the inning continues for Howie Kendrick. That's with a 6-3 lead. Kendrick is 0 for 2. He lined the third his last time. That was really a big play by David Wright looking back. A leaping catch, robbing Kendrick of a hit. More importantly, taking a run away. Grandal certainly would have scored had that ball gotten beyond Wright. First pitch on the way to Kendrick. As Harvey finds the strike zone. A fastball in the inside corner, and it's 0-1. Kendrick grounded to short his first time tonight. A former Angel, now a Dodger. Waves the bat back and forth on the right side as Harvey comes set. Harvey a long look in, the 0-1. That slapped foul right side. And now Harvey up 2 strikes. And once again, as has been the theme tonight, with 2 strikes, the crowd at Citi Field rises to its feet. The orange towels waving above the heads of a sold-out crowd here at Citi Field. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 4th inning. Mets lead 6-3. Harvey's 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Harvey goes to the changeup to strike out Kendrick, and the Dodgers empty here in the 4th. Really Anderson's worst start of the season. Now he gives way to Wood, who was 12-12 as a starter this year, a .384 ERA between the Braves and the Dodgers. First pitch, and a fastball kicks off the glove of Grandal and gets away. Ball 1 to Juan Lagares. The reason why the Dodgers chose Anderson over Wood to start this game was because of Wood's lack of success against the Mets in his career. 1-0. Lagares looks at a strike on the outer half, and the count is level. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wood, a left-hander who comes from the Braves organization, has certainly seen plenty of appearances against the Mets. 1-1. Lagares reaches out. It's a fly ball to right center. It's carrying. Hernandez back, still going. Can't get it. It's off the warning track. Bounces against the wall as Lagares is into second. A leadoff double. That ball just kept going. It didn't look like Lagares hit it very hard. And Hernandez kind of drifted with it for a while, then started to motor after it. By the time he reached out, the ball one-hopped the wall in right center field.
And Hernandez also was pretty shallow in center field. They could understand Lagares perhaps pulling a ball from power, but not driving it the other way as he did. But either way, I think it's evident now, of course, that Hernandez was just in a little too tight. And Lagares drove it far beyond his reach, and now Harvey will try to butt him over to third, I'd imagine.
Mets lead 6-3. They scored 4 in the second, 2 in the third. Now threatening again here in the 4th inning. Wood, by the way, lifetime against the Mets, 0-3 with a .435 ERA and 7 starts. So that's why it was Anderson tonight. Well, that move backfired, and now here's Wood anyway. First pitch to Harvey. Shows bunt, takes high. Ball 1. Wood was drafted by the Braves in 2012, a second-round pick. Kind of a surprise that he was sent to the Dodgers to begin with, as L.A. tried to bolster their starting rotation, as we know and as we've seen. Kershaw, Greinke, and then not much else after that.
Harvey, not a great butter.
Showing bunt here, the 1-0. Harvey bunts it foul right on top of home plate. And a step behind the plate, picked up by Grandal. 1 ball and 1 strike. Earlier this season, Wood faced the Mets in April, gave up a home run to Michael Kadire. He faced them again in June and gave up a couple of more home runs in that game. He even allowed one last year to Juan Lagares. Lagares at second with no outs in this 4th inning. Harvey at the plate with a count of 1-1. Dodger corner infielders on the grass. Outfield shallow. Harvey squares. Wood kicks towards second.
Yeah, I think they were waiting to see if Harvey might have started to bring that hand back down the barrel of the bat as though he was going to show bunt and then swing away, but Harvey gave nothing away.
Count is level on Harvey. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wood from the chest. Now comes home. Harvey bunts foul behind home plate, and it's still 1-2. They work on bunting constantly. Pat Russler, the Mets assistant hitting coach, has taken it upon himself this year to strongly work with the Mets pitchers, and you've seen the improvement from a batting standpoint, but for whatever reason, the bunting still has not been very good team-wide on this Mets club, and Harvey especially here looks very uncomfortable trying to bunt Lagares over to third.
He's only done it once all year successfully.
Throw to second, and Lagares dives back safely. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Harvey. Mentioned that start here at Citi Field that Wood had on June 12th. He allowed 4 runs and walked 4 in 6 1/3 innings. That's the last time he faced the Mets, did not face them while pitching for the Dodgers. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Harvey. Lagares off the bag at second. The pitch. Harvey takes strike 3 called. He pulled the bat back as Wood threw a big bending curve. Harvey goes down looking, unable to move Lagares to third base, and now Granderson will bat. Scoreboard update brought to you by your Tri Honda dealers. Visit TriHondaDealers.com to check out their best deals today. In the other National League Division Series, the Chicago Cubs took a step closer to their first NLCS appearance in 12 years as they beat the Cardinals today at Wrigley 8-6. Cubs hit 6 home runs in that game. Their offense is on fire right now as Jake Arrieta didn't pitch that great but still got the win over Michael Wacha. Here's Granderson. First pitch. Breaking ball outside, ball 1. So now the Cubs tomorrow will try to put their arch rivals away and advance to the NLCS without having to go back to St. Louis for a Game 5. 1 ball and no strikes on Granderson. That big 3-run double off Granderson's bat in the second gave the Mets the lead. They're up 6-3 now here in the bottom of the 4th inning as Granderson calls time. Wood taking his time, getting the signs from Grandal. Granderson, steady stance on the left side, bit of a crouch. 1-0. Inside, almost hit him. 2 balls and no strikes. And that's really the first inside pitch we've seen all night, and the Mets fans letting Alex Wood have it.
Yeah, but it looked like Grandal, the catcher, was set up away, and Wood missed the target by plenty. Grandal was leaning towards the outside part of the plate, and he had the slide rather aggressively to his right, just to keep that ball within control.
Nobody here cares about that.
Yeah.
2-0 on the way. Granderson off his hands, fouls one back. It's 2-1.
They're thinking that was a clever ruse. Set up away, then go in and do a little damage.
1 out. Lagares at second here in the 4th. Mets lead 6-3. Granderson banged one off the right center field wall his last time to unload the bases. Chance here for another RBI. Lagares doubled to start this 4th inning. Infield over shifted to the right. 2-1. Upstairs, 3 balls and a strike. David Wright, the Mets captain, is on deck. Like Anderson, Wood is a sinker baller. Actually induced more double plays this year than Anderson. First base open here for Granderson. Count 3-1. Turner way off the bag at third. Outfield pulled to the right as well. Wood sets chest high. 3-1. Swing and a ground ball to third. Turner waits for it on the second hop. He has it. Flips it across to Gonzalez. Granderson is out, and there's 2 away. With Lagares still stuck at second base, and now David Wright will step in. The American League today, Toronto defeated Texas 8-4. The Blue Jays scored 7 times in the first 3 innings. David Price ended up getting the win in relief of R.A. Dickey, which means Marcus Stroman will pitch the 5th and final game of that series at the Rogers Center on Wednesday. The Blue Jays coming back down 0-2, winning twice on the road. Now every game in that series has been won by the visiting team. The Blue Jays having quote-unquote home field advantage on Wednesday for Game 5. In Houston today, the Astros blew an enormous chance to advance to the ALCS. They led 6-2 into the 8th inning. Kansas City scored 5 times, plus 2 in the 9th to beat the Astros 9-6. So the Royals send that series back to Kansas City. Mets trying to keep this one out of L.A., trying to take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-5 here tonight. They lead 6-3 in the bottom of the 4th. 2 outs, Lagares at second. The batter's David Wright.
Oh, now they're going to walk him. I was about to say it was kind of surprising that they're going to pitch to Wright, and that's why time was called, because evidently somebody didn't pick that up from the Dodger dugout, that was the play as Wood was getting ready to deliver a pitch.
Certainly the right move. We've talked about Wright's success against lefties. How about the fact that against left-handed sinkers, Wright has hit .397 in his career. Again, like Anderson, Wood susceptible to that sinking pitch from the left side. Perfect for what David Wright can do. And in this at-bat, he won't do anything because he'll be standing at first after the intentional ball 4. Now we'll bring up Daniel Murphy as Wright removes the shin pad off his left leg and heads toward first base after the intentional pass by Wood. Murphy tonight 0 for 2, fly to center and grounded to first. And now Rick Honeycutt will come out to have a chat with the Dodger hurler. 6-3 Mets, bottom of the 4th inning. Rick Honeycutt, who saw postseason action as a pitcher in the American League for the Oakland A's, part of that 1988 team against the Dodgers in the World Series that year when LA beat the A's, knocked off the Mets on their way to the World Series that year.
And this is the anniversary of Hershiser shutting the Mets out in Game 7.
Mets trying to put a bad taste about this date in the Dodgers' mouths tonight. Long conference here on the mound as Wood chats with Rick Honeycutt and the entire Dodger infield out there as well. Murphy will bat. Murphy, who has 2 home runs this season against a left-handed pitcher, one of them in this series. The first run of this series coming off the bat of Murphy when he homered against Clayton Kershaw on Friday. First pitch, strike, inner half, and it's 0-1. Lagares at second. He started this inning with a double. Wright has been intentionally walked. There are 2 down. Harvey couldn't get a bunt down to move Lagares to third, and Granderson grounded out. 1 strike on Murphy, lefty to lefty. Right leg kick the pitch upstairs from Wood. And the count is level. 1 ball, 1 strike. Murphy had to back and duck out of the way a little bit. Murphy's second in team history with 228 doubles. He's batted .309 this year with runners in scoring position. A chance with 2 out and 2 on. And the Mets leading by 3. 1-1. Inside corner, a strike from Wood. The count now 1-2. It was Murphy earlier today when he met the media discussing all things middle infielders. As Murphy recalled getting injured a couple of times in his career on plays at second base like we saw Saturday night. Ruben Tejada had his leg broken. Murphy missed some time in 2010 and 2011 because of injuries to both knees. 1-2. Upstairs, 2-2. Murphy said he talked to one of the player reps today, Kevin Slowey, as they are trying to work on ways to protect those middle infielders. And we'll see if Major League Baseball addresses that as any sort of rule change comes into play going into 2016 and beyond. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Murphy. Cespedes on deck. 2 outs. Mets lead by 3. The pitch. Murphy lines one left field, base hit. Lagares gets to third. He's being waved home. Crawford bobbles it in left. Lagares scores. Daniel Murphy with an RBI single, and the Mets keep adding to it. They lead 7-3.
Crawford bobbled that ball in his haste to get a throw off, but you run on Carl Crawford anyway. With 2 outs, there was no question Lagares was going to be waved home. But Carl Crawford has a weak throwing arm in left field, and I don't think he had a prayer of throwing out Lagares, even if he fielded that ball cleanly.
And now Cespedes will bat with 2 out and 2 on. So far tonight, Cespedes has been the table setter. An infield base hit in the second to start a 4-run rally. He singled in the third ahead of Travis d'Arnaud's homer. But now Cespedes bats with the table already set. 2 on, 2 out, a run home. And the Mets leading 7-3 here in the 4th inning. First pitch. Breaking ball down and in. Cespedes watches it go to the ankles, and the count now 1 ball and no strikes. 17 homers for Cespedes as a Met this year. He had 18 before the trade with the Tigers. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Mets lead by 4. Pitch. Upstairs, and it's 2-0. Lucas Duda's on deck. But Cespedes with the table set, ready to eat on a 2-0 pitch. That could be coming his way from Alex Wood.
And he's got a big appetite.
Outfield deep. Infield swung to the left. Once again, 3 infielders on the left side for Cespedes, something that only the Dodgers have shown Cespedes this year. And now Cespedes calls time. Takes a couple of hacks at his cleats with his bat. Now Cespedes digging back in on the right side.
Know how hungry he is, as hard as he swings at everything. He takes about as hard a swing as anyone I think the Mets have ever had, Wayne.
Wood steps off, wants a new set of signs from Grandal. 2-0. Swing and a pop-up foul, right side out of play. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Cespedes. There was some talk early on in September when Cespedes was really rolling about MVP candidacy. That certainly cooled as Cespedes did in the final weeks of the season. But Cespedes' couple of months with the Mets have to remind the Dodgers what they saw from Manny Ramirez in 2008 when Manny batted .396 after being acquired at the trade deadline. Ramirez was also ferocious in the 08 playoffs, especially in the NLDS.
I'm trying to remember, Wayne. I think it was it 07 when the Mets were thinking of trading for Manny Ramirez and they wouldn't give up Fernando Martinez. Wasn't he one of the keys that the Mets would not surrender?
2-1. Cespedes reaches out, pokes it down the right field line. It's dropping. It's foul. A foul ball. Not much room down that right field line as Cespedes just poked it near the corner. And a good look at it from the right field umpire. Remember, there are 6 umpires in playoff baseball. Jim Wolf, whose one job is to watch that happen, saw that ball actually land into foul territory beyond the field of play. Cespedes now has a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wright's at second, Murphy's at first. The intentional walk to right did not help the Dodgers. Murphy singled home Lagares. That's 7, Dodgers 3. We're in the 4th. 2-2. Swing and a drive! Left field and deep! Forget about it! Home run! Yoenis Cespedes! A 3-run rocket from Cespedes, and the Mets lead it 10-3.
Years ago, Mike Piazza was in a slump. And when he broke out, Mets coach John Stearns bellowed more than once. The monster's out of the cage. And you might be able to say the same thing now about Cespedes.
3 for 3 tonight. 2 singles. And that 3-run homer. The Mets lead by 7. As Lucas Duda takes a breaking ball outside, ball 1. No Kershaw, no Greinke. And the Mets have tortured Brett Anderson and Alex Wood tonight. 1-0. Breaking ball strike. Cespedes with the curtain call. One ball, one strike on Lucas Duda. Anderson, rather Wood from the windup. A fastball strikeout or third, 1-2. I told you he was hungry.
He just killed the buffet table.
1-2. Breaking ball low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two outs, nobody on. The 2-2 to Duda. Breaking ball, check swing. Duda didn't go. 3-2. Mets 10. Dodgers 3. It's the bottom of the 4th. The Mets have scored 4 in the second tonight, 2 in the third, and now a 4-run 4th inning. Three balls and 2 strikes. Wood from the windup his pitch. Wave and a miss. Duda strikes out swinging. As the Mets fans chant, "We want Utley," they now roar for the Mets offense.
It does tonight. Here is Jimmy Rollins to lead off. Harvey's first pitch, a fastball high, 0-1. And I think there are a lot of people in the sellout crowd tonight who would tell you, you know, when you make it through the bad years, here's the 1-0 pitch. Rollins pops it up behind first base. Duda backpedaling. Murphy there too. Murphy out at short right field makes the catch. One man out, reaching over his shoulder and ultimately lunging for that ball a bit, but he puts it away. 1 up, 1 down, and Adrian Gonzalez coming up. And I don't know that, you know, the real diehard fans who are here night in and night out, or at least watching and listening night in and night out during the down years, would tell you that, oh, it was all worth it, because it's tough to go through the down times. But when you are here for those times and you get to experience this, you can take a bow. Adrian Gonzalez takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1, because only the most loyal fans can really understand the reward of nights like this if they were there for some of the lesser nights, to be kind. The 0-1 to Gonzalez taken off the inside corner, 1-1. And the fans who were at Shea Stadium when things fell apart in the late 1970s, and then, of course, after the 86 season, the 1-1 chopped foul down the third base side, 1-2. You know, once you got into the early 90s and things went south again, it's really baseball. Frankly, it's cyclical. And it tastes better when you've experienced some of the sour, too. And those fans who have been there know what I'm talking about. 1-2 pitch. Upstairs to Gonzalez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gonzalez grounded to first, drew a walk. Justin Turner on deck. Funny thing is, the fans have been shouting, "We want Utley, we want Utley." Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just off the outside corner, a full count. If the Mets remain comfortably ahead, Wayne, I have to think that would probably work against the odds of Utley bothering to get an at-bat tonight, or Don Mattingly bothering to put him in the game.
There's no way Mattingly's going to feed this beast.
Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a hard hit liner up the middle. A base hit going into center field. So Gonzalez has hit in all 3 games of this series. He'll turn and hold at first as the Dodgers pick up their 6th hit off of Matt Harvey, who, of course, has not been razor sharp. But now the Mets have given him a 7-run lead. And Terry Collins, who was saying before the game, well, there'll probably be no more than about 120 pitches. I understand on a TV interview earlier tonight, he amended that to about 115. You know, given the way a 5-game series shapes up, and if you go 5, everybody's on deck, or all hands, pitching hands on deck for a potential 5th game, well, why push him if you could stay comfortably in front? Here's Turner. First pitch taken low, 1-0, but really the challenge is staying comfortably in front. It's only the 5th inning.
Another thing, too, if the Mets do start Matz tomorrow, well, DeGrom would then pitch a Game 5 if necessary. You'd have Syndergaard loaded up for that, too, and possibly Harvey.
1-0 to Turner. The pitch. Slider outside, ball 2. Your Tri-Honda dealers invite you to park like a pro with a standard multi-view rear view camera in a Honda Civic. Check out the great deal now at TriHondaDealers.com. And there's an important point to be made about the Mets bullpen right now. 2-0 to Turner. Harvey delivers outside with a fastball, 3-0. I think it's fair to say, Wayne, that in the last little while you can only say that Jerry's Familia has been reliable among Mets relievers. So those starting hands potentially on deck for a 5th game loom even larger, I think. 3-0 pitch. Down the middle at the knees, a called strike, 3-1.
I think if you can get Harvey through this inning, take your 15 outs and hope the bullpen can hold a big lead no matter what, you'll see all the better relievers the Mets have in this game to secure a win.
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Gonzalez at first. We're in the 5th, 10-3 New York. 3-1 pitch. Turner fouls it off his foot, and that rolls down the third baseline, and now the count full.
Give Harvey some credit, too. There was a time in the 3rd inning when John Neese and Bartolo Colon were throwing in the bullpen.
Mets look like they're getting the bullpen up again. Looks like that's Bartolo once more. I think you could make the case, as Turner walks that foul ball off a little bit, that over the last couple of weeks, Hansel Robles might be the most reliable reliever the Mets have had other than Jerry's Familia. So it'd be nice to have extra support for him later in this series. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Harvey goes to the breaking ball, gets him with a 90-mile-an-hour slider for Matt Harvey, strikeout number 7. 2 men away, and Andre Ethier coming up.
Well, maybe Harvey hasn't had his best stuff tonight, but more times than not this evening, when he's had to go find it, he's gotten the big pitches to get out of some trouble. Struck out Ethier and Crawford to end the 3rd inning, and now a big strikeout here of Turner with 1 out.
Ethier singled and scored in the 2nd and struck out in the 3rd inning. Harvey has walked 2 tonight, and that's already more than he walks over 9 innings on average. Slightly more. Left-hand batter, Harvey deals. Ethier swings and misses at a fastball, 0-1. On average, Harvey will walk 1.8 batters per 9 innings. That's tied for 7th best in the league. And you look at DeGrom with similar numbers, Syndergaard with similar numbers, and that's almost shocking for relatively inexperienced pitchers, all with power arms, time called at home plate, to have that kind of command early in their careers. Oh, and 1 to Ethier. Harvey sets at the letters. Now the pitch. Swing and a looping fly ball to right. On comes Granderson. Will play it on a hop. It's a base hit. Gonzalez goes to second and stops there as the throw comes into Flores. Ethier has his 2nd hit of the night, a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Carl Crawford.
A lot of the hits tonight from the Dodgers, for what it's worth, have been ones that have just snuck through some holes or blooped in front of some outfielders, including both hits by Ethier.
All 7 of their hits have been singles. Grandal hit a 2-run single and then took second on a throw, which got away from David Wright. Granderson charged with an error, allowing a 3rd run to score. That was in the 2nd. Now it's Crawford. First pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. And Harvey just has not had the pinpoint command in this game that he's had quite a few of his other starts this year.
Especially recently, ever since that Yankee start on September 20th, Harvey's been fantastic.
Outfield straight away. Harvey delivers. Swing and a miss. It will look like a changeup. A darting, almost split effect changeup. Harvey doesn't throw a split, but that ball had the same downward action. It was a changeup at 88 miles an hour. Imagine if he comes up with a split the way Familia did. No, you're right. 1-1 to Crawford. Right off the line at 3rd. Now the 1-1. Swing and a chopper slowly hit right side. Charged by Murphy. Gloves, throws, out at first, side retired. Well, 5-6 years ago, Crawford probably beats that ball out, but not anymore. And the Dodgers are empty in the 5th as Harvey retires the side. Takes a curve from Alex Wood for a called strike. And the count 0-1. Darno, an RBI single and a 2-run homer. His home run coming in the 3rd his last time up. His last hit against Anderson. The 0-1 taken outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Darno, Flores, Lagares due up for the Mets. Flores on deck offers protection in the lineup, just as Norman Seabrook and the Corrections Officers Benevolent Association do. The 1-1 fastball inside near his shins, 2-1, and that prompts the obvious response from the crowd. Norman and the Corrections Officers protect and patrol the toughest precincts in New York, the jails. Coba, New York's boldest. 2-1 changeup outside, 3-1 to Darno. Travis was just 6 for his last 54 before this game tonight. And the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a high foul fly. That'll settle into the seats downstairs just beyond first base. So it's a full count to Darno. Dodgers have left a ton of room on the left side of the infield as the shortstop Rollins is pulled way into the hole. 3-2 pitch. Reaches for a pitch away and grounds it to second. To the right of the bag, it's Kendrick to feel it. And he throws out Darno for the out. 1 away. And Wilmer Flores will be the batter. Mets fans, make the call to the bullpen and replace that inefficient beast in your basement with an American-made Peerless Boiler. Go to peerlessboilers.com for more info and to find a dealer near you. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. Bartolo Colon still throwing in the Mets bullpen. So Flores 1 for 2 playing for the injured Tejada. Takes the first pitch for a called strike, 0-1. And I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised at the length of time that is being taken to adjudicate the appeal of Chase Utley. The 0-1 breaking ball outside, 1-1. I mean, I understand due process, but again, this is not the crime of the century here. I don't think the 1-1 on the way. Change up outside, 2-1. I mean, however this thing turns out, nobody's going to jail. You understand that Utley's representation wants to look for some documentation through video of similar plays that were not deemed suspendable, and that's fine. 2-1 pitch, pulled towards third, fair ball, past Turner, down the line, Karum's off the tarp. Now Crawford's got to move in to play the Karam, and that gives Flores plenty of time to pull into second standing with a 1-out double. And the Mets have their 11th hit of the game. Flores is 2 for 3. But Wayne, my point is, why should it take until Wednesday to hear this thing? How much evidence do you need? And the worst of it then becomes, if the suspension is upheld, well, how much are you penalizing the Dodgers, at least against the Mets in this series? Because it's a 2-game suspension, and if they don't hear the thing until Wednesday, that means the most it could be for this series is 1.
And it deserves to be heard during the postseason, so it can affect the Dodgers during the postseason. I mean, they said it could take up to 2 weeks, which would really nullify anything.
Yeah, I don't get that. Here's Lagares. Takes a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Now, if, let's say they cut it down to 1 game, or even if it remains at 2, but that doesn't take effect until Game 5, if it should be played on Thursday, well, the Dodgers would have to play that decisive game 1 player short. Can't replace him on the roster. The 0-1 to Lagares, a curveball in the dirt, 1-1.
And as we've seen throughout this series, Utley's not the player that he once was. He's not the superstar he was in Philadelphia, but he's one of their best options off the bench, certainly.
One of the things I found a little ridiculous in terms of comparisons between Utley's slide and some of the others. A lot of people were talking about the injury to Young-Ho Kang, the shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who had his leg broken by Chris Coghlan. 1-1 to Lagares. Swing and a liner towards right center, moving over and in is Hernandez, the center fielder, to make the catch. 2 men away. Holding at second is Flores, and now Michael Kadire will hit for Harvey, which means Harvey's going to be available to come out of the bullpen in Game 5. At least that's how I would read it if it does go to a Game 5. So here comes Kadire to bat for Matt. But anyway, if you get a chance to take a look at Chris Coughlin's slide and compare it with Chase Utley's slide, even though the end result was the same, there's no comparison. Coughlin started his slide the way you're supposed to, before second base. You know, there is responsibility on the part of the infielders, and I understand that there's a school of thought that feels that, you know, Tejada put himself in a vulnerable position there too. And there is some truth to that, because he didn't get a great throw from Murphy. First pitch to Kadire, taken outside, a fastball 1-0. But to compare those plays, to me, just look at them both. That's a ludicrous comparison.
In the case of Gong, he was in front of the second base bag, standing flat-footed as Coughlin slid into his knee. Really nothing dirty about it, just wrong place at the wrong time.
But it was a complicated call for the umpires. 1-0 to Kadire, taken on the outside corner, 1-1. 10-3 Mets, 2 out here in the last of the fifth, with Flores at second and Kadire batting for Harvey. Clearly, there was no way the Mets were going to double up Howie Kendrick. But Ruben Tejada was trying to do so. Now, he had no chance, I don't think, had he thrown the ball to get Kendrick. Here's the 1-1. Taken low and away, 2-1. But if you feel, as many do, and I did, that the slide was late, then the umpire certainly could have called Utley out for interference, and that would have meant an automatic double play on a ball that really was not going to produce a double play. So whether they took that into account or not, who knows. But Joe Torre was pretty firm about it afterwards. 2-1 to Kadire, fouled back to the screen, 2-2. And I think really Torre, you know, made something of a tacit admission that it should have been an inning-ending double play. But that doesn't mean the Mets necessarily were going to win the game. They only would have gotten it into the eighth inning, 2-1. But fact of the matter is, we still don't know when or if Utley's suspension will start. And the longer it takes, I think the more ridiculous it becomes. However, it ultimately is adjudicated. 2-2 to Kadire, outfield around towards right. The pitch, breaking ball low, full count.
They announced the attendance, 44,276 here tonight, largest crowd ever for a Mets game in this ballpark. The only bigger crowd was the 2013 All-Star game.
Well, Cespedes performed tonight as he did in that game. Home run. Won the home run derby. Not in that game, but that week. Payoff pitch, foul, back to the screen by Kadire. All right, so Cologne's first up out of the pen. Now the question will be, how many will follow?
I'm sure Terry Collins, in a perfect world, would just get 3 outs from whoever he brings in, give them all clean innings, and try to cinch this thing up tomorrow.
Again, it'll be against Clayton Kershaw, with Greinke on full rest on Thursday. So as much fun as the Mets are having, this doesn't assure anything. Time called at home plate. Unbelievably, someone actually asked Terry Collins if he had a preference, this was before the game, for Alex Wood or Clayton Kershaw. You know, who would he rather see tomorrow? I didn't get that one. Payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. Wood missed with a fastball. And the Mets have runners at first and second, 2 out for Curtis Granderson.
You got to give Terry Collins credit for at least the fact that no matter what kind of question he gets asked, no matter how ridiculous it is, he comes off giving a very thoughtful answer, and he never in any way ridicules the questionnaire in any form.
You know what? That's an important point, Wayne, because if you think he's that way about writers or broadcasters, he's to the nth degree more like that with his players. And that's why these players largely love him. Here's Granderson. First pitch, curve in for a called strike, 0-1. He made it a point after some of the problems he had in the communications department with his prior teams that he managed, the Angels and the Astros. He made it a point to keep all lines of communications open and to talk to his stars. He used to say he didn't think he had to talk to his star players, that they police themselves. The 0-1, Granderson pops it up. Left side of the infield. Rollins with the overshift has to come a ways. Now backing up onto the outfield grass, makes the catch. Side retired. You might have thought, ruh-roh. Well, actually, it's quite the opposite. The Mets are leading 10-3 And so Colon, who knows how long he'll go. I mean, he might get multiple innings here. But I think the message is, by removing Harvey after 5, that they're going to see if he's ready to go in relief in Game 5. Grandal takes high and outside, ball 1. I mean, maybe just for a batter or two or an inning. But I think, to me, the way I read this, Wayne, is that they want to have all those starting pitchers they can available in the pen. The 1-0 taken for a called strike by Grandal. It's 1-1.
And certainly with Harvey at 97 pitches, not really the best effort from him as far as being efficient in these 5 innings tonight either.
1-1 on the way. Fastball upstairs, 2-1.
But as I'm sure Terry Collins will say afterward, Harvey battled tonight through not having some of his best stuff and only gets hung for 2 earned runs in 5 innings.
2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed by Grandal. It's 2-2. It's a fastball, a sinking fastball at 88 miles an hour from Colon.
And the one thing that Terry loves best about Colon in these situations, he throws strikes.
2-2. There's another one. Strike 3 called. Got him on the inside corner. A tailing fastball to get Grandal. 1 up, 1 down here in the 6th inning.
That's what Terry Collins loves about Bartolo. That's why he's on the playoff roster, even though not being used as a starter to this point. He gets the ball over the plate, and if you're up by this much later now in this game, you just want to see a guy who's going to throw strikes and get the ball over the plate.
Of course, posterity will recall him. Here's Hernandez, takes a strike on the outside corner as the answer to the question. So, by the way, who was pitching when Howie Kendrick hit that ground ball and Utley made that slide on Tejada? The 0-1 taken outside, 1-1. By the way, it was Jerry Koosman who was pitching when Pete Rose slid into Buddy Harrelson. But he was starting that game. The 1-1. Fastball in for a called strike. 1-2 to Hernandez. Mentioned he missed time late in the year. He was on the disabled list virtually all of September with a hamstring injury. Now the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. If that wasn't it was a slider. I mean, he'll throw fastballs at 82, 83. That was at 85, but it had a little wrinkle, just a little bit. And Colon, 2 up, 2 struck out. No, that's not Chase Utley. They would boo a lot louder than that. It's Yasiel Puig who is going to hit for Alex Wood.
So far, the Dodgers have used Peterson and now Puig. They've got Rusciano and Seager before they have to go to Utley.
And again, the We Want Utley chant comes up. First pitch, swung on and missed a fastball, 0-1. Yasiel Puig had an in and out season for the Dodgers and also had a hamstring problem late in the year. He's lost some luster. The 0-1 in tight, tried to hold his swing, and he did. They appealed down to first, and Chris Guccione says no swing, and the count 1-1. Did you know being struck by a car is the most common cause of injury-related death among children? New York City Vision Zero initiative reminds you, pause and look before you turn. Your choices matter. The 1-1. Slider away, 2 balls and 1 strike. And again, that's We Want Utley if you're trying to make it out. 2-1 pitch, in for a called strike, 2-2. Never mind Utley. If the Mets win tonight, they're going to get Kershaw tomorrow on 3 days rest. And I know, Wayne, you've been doing a little research on how he's fared in those situations. We'll look forward to that in a moment. Here's the 2-2 to Puig. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Mariano Colon comes out of the bullpen to strike out the side. He's off here in the home half of the 6th. David 0 for 2, then was walked intentionally and eventually scored. Righty against righty, the first pitch. That's taken a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike. No strikes, pardon me. It'll be Wright, Murphy, and Cespedes here in the 6th inning. And again, with the Mets leading by 7, start to cheat a little bit, think towards tomorrow. And if, in fact, the Mets hold on and win here, we'll have a chance to end the series here. The 1-0 to Wright clips the inside corner, a called strike. Fastball, it's 1-1. Steven Matz looks like he'll be the pitcher for New York. And we know, because Don Mattingly said it didn't matter win or lose, it will be Clayton Kershaw tomorrow. Now, you knew that would happen if the Dodgers were down 2-1. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball low and away, 2-1. So, Wayne, I know you've been looking at Kershaw's work on 3 days rest. How does he stack up?
Well, he's only done it twice, surprisingly, in his career, each of the last 2 postseasons, and as you'd expect, he's been fine. He's been only 6 innings, though, in those 2 starts.
2-1 to right. Garcia deals. Fastball, pop foul, straight back out of play.
First time was against the Braves in 2013, coming back after a 124 pitch effort in Game 1. He pitched Game 4, allowed 2 unearned runs in 6 innings, struck out 6 and threw 91 pitches. The Dodgers won that game. Last year he did it against the Cardinals after throwing 110 pitches in Game 1.
2-2 to right. Swinging a high foul fly, coming straight back.
And he was actually better in Game 4 against the Cardinals last year than he was in Game 1. Remember, Game 1 he allowed 8 runs, gave up those 2 homers. And the second time he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings, so not his best effort, 102 pitches. And he lost that game as well. The Dodgers were beaten 3-2.
Yeah, that was on 1 swing from Matt Adams. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, low and away, full count.
So 12 innings in his 2 starts on 3 days rest, 3 earned runs, 5 total, 15 strikeouts in 12 innings.
So that's what looms tomorrow for the Dodgers. And if it goes back to L.A., it'll be Greinke and DeGrom on full rest. Payoff pitch. Off the outside corner, ball 4. The Mets get a leadoff base runner here in the 6th.
As a point of reference, Kershaw threw 113 pitches in Game 1 of this series. So right in between where he was in those previous 2 outings when he came back on 3 days rest. Although we saw Kershaw tire a bit in the 7th inning of that last start. But again, a guy that is so used to being thrown into these types of situations that the Dodgers were going to plan on using him no matter what to try to get the win tomorrow.
Daniel Murphy, 1 out of 3. Singled in a run in the 4th inning. Outfield straightaway, left-hand batter. Garcia delivers. And a fastball outside for ball 1. The Dodgers bullpen has been at very best pedestrian, and frankly it's even a little worse than that. This season started, or the series, pardon me, started with the Dodgers coming in with a 19th best bullpen ERA for the full year. Swing and a miss by Murphy. And the count 1-1, swinging through a high fastball. But in the first 2 games of this series, bullpen worked total of 4 1/3 innings without the Mets scoring. Here, Alex Wood was touched up for 4 hits and 4 runs over 2 innings. Garcia, the 3rd pitcher. Brett Anderson started, went just 3, gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. Darno, a 2-run homer. Cespedes, a 3-run homer. Here's the 1-1. Changeup in for a called strike. It's 1-2. And back in the 2nd inning, Curtis Granderson with a bases loaded, bases clearing double. Remember, the Mets trailed 3-0 going to that bottom of the 2nd. Granderson's 3-run double gave the Mets a 4-3 lead, and they've tacked on 6 more. 1-2 pitch. Outside and high. 2-2 to Murphy. Tomorrow night's game will begin a half hour earlier than this at 8:07. At least that's the scheduled first pitch, assuming the phone's working okay in the visitor's dugout. 2-2 pitch. Murphy tries to hold up at a high fastball. He does. They appeal to third. Chad Fairchild says no swing. Full count.
Been quite a day of baseball playoffs. Big comebacks. The Royals beating Houston to hold off elimination. There have been more home runs hit today than in any other playoff day in baseball history.
Wind was blowing out at Wrigley Field, I would imagine. Jake Arrieta and Michael Wacha, the starters in that game. And the Cubs have a chance to win now as soon as tomorrow. 3-2 to Murphy. Now the pitch. Swinging a high pop foul coming back out of play behind home plate. Now if the Mets advance by beating the Dodgers, and that's a long, long way off. But if in fact that would happen, they would have the home field advantage if they played the Cubs in the league championship series by virtue of the fact that the Mets won the Eastern Division and the Cubs were a wild card. If it's the Cardinals, well, St. Louis would have home field. Payoff pitch. Murphy gets jammed and fights it off, fouling it straight back downstairs.
And the Mets hoping that if that is the case, they do get home field advantage should they advance. That home field advantage is kinder in the NLCS than it has been in any of the division series so far. We've seen the road team in the Texas-Toronto series win every game.
Why can the Astros bounce back from the loss at home today after leading 6-2 going to the 8th when they could have wrapped that series up? Game 5s in both American League series.
Well, Major League Baseball to this point has to be ecstatic by the postseason they've gotten so far.
3-2 to Murphy. Wright was not running first time, not here either. And the pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. So Garcia strikes out Murphy, 1 away. Cespedes coming up. We'll pause. Station ID in the WOR Mets Radio Network.
I'm Lauren Garrett, WOR New York. 1 young woman is dead and 2 others critically injured in a drive-by shooting in the Flatiron District. Details after the game.
Howie Rose, Wayne Randazzo with you here at Citi Field, where we can say for the first time the Mets are playing a postseason game. They lead the Dodgers 10-3 with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning, and here's one of the big reasons. Yoenis Cespedes, single and a run scored. Another single and a run scored. 3-run home run. Right-hand batter, the righty Garcia, sets and delivers. And a breaking ball on the outside corner, strike 1.
He has set all kinds of records tonight. First Met to ever do what he's done tonight. 3 hits, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs in a playoff game. Also the first Cuban-born player to hit a home run in a playoff game in each league.
Well, there haven't been all that many of them. The 0-1 foul back, that went off the mask of the catcher Grandal in the count 0-2. There have been some great Cuban-born players. Of course, player movement is so much more liberal now than it was in the 50s and the 60s and into most of the 70s. But they ever opened fully the ability to bring Cuban players over here? 0-2 to Cespedes, swung on and missed, strike 3. Took that typically big cut at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 men out, and Lucas Duda coming up.
Cespedes is also the first Met to homer in back-to-back playoff games since John Olerud in '99.
Well, here comes Lucas Duda now with 2 out. Nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen, so Bartolo Colon will get another inning at least. He certainly was the right choice of Terry Collins as he struck out the side in the 6th. Your choices matter too. Drive responsibly. A reminder from the New York City Department of Transportation and the Vision Zero Initiative. Duda struck out twice, singled. First pitch by Garcia. Swing and a drive deep down the right field line, hooking foul. That had exit velo as well. It went foul by a good 30 feet or so, maybe even more than that. But I don't know that I've ever seen a Met left-hand hitter pull a ball. I mean, I don't know how many have done it, but pull a ball for a home run off the right field foul pole, and you wonder about the condition of the foul pole after the home run that was hit by Conforto on Saturday in L.A. 0-1 to Duda, taken outside, 1-1.
That right there with Duda's home run in that Sunday night game against Washington as the most impressive home run from a lefty this year. To be able to keep a ball like that fair down the right field line is very difficult to do.
Fast and strong. The 1-1. Change up away. 2-1 to Duda. Fans take home a piece of the game, including a jersey from tonight's game with Mets Amazing Memorabilia, the official source for game used and autographed Mets collectibles. For more information, visit Mets.com/game used. Again, Mets wearing the alternate home blues tonight. They've worn the pinstripes the overwhelming majority of the time, but I know Matt Harvey likes the blue jersey, and he was the starting pitcher. 2-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, 2-2. The Dodgers, they always wear traditional road grays, but they've got 2 sets now. One says Los Angeles across the chest, as it did from when they arrived in L.A. in '58 right through the late 60s. And the ones they're wearing tonight simply say Dodgers, and that classic Dodgers word mark. 2-2 pitch. Swing on a pop foul, coming straight back out of play off the bat of Lucas Duda. With the infield overshifted, Justin Turner, the third baseman, is well to the right of second base. Kendrick out in right field. Rollins, the shortstop, basically at shortstop. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strike three, side retired. He got him with a high fastball at 95. 3 straight strikeouts for Garcia after the leadoff walk to right. This time of year, Wayne.
Howie Kendrick will start the 7th inning, and Howie, the best way to get revenge against the Dodgers is to certainly send them home as Kendrick looks at a strike, and it's 0-1. Bartolo Colon came on firing strikes in the 6th inning in relief of Matt Harvey. Struck out the side. 0-1 on the way. Bouncing ball wide to first, past a diving Duda into right field. And now Howie Kendrick is on, the first hit for the Dodgers since the 5th inning. All of the LA hits tonight have been singles. We're coming to you live from the Bob Murphy broadcast booth, proudly presented by Bigelow Tea, an American classic for 70 years. If the Mets fans can't boo Chase Utley tonight, they'll take Jimmy Rollins to task as he stands in here. Rollins 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and how weird for the Mets to have to face these two guys in the playoffs, their first postseason in 9 years. And there's Rollins and Utley staring at you. Strike from Colon on the outer half, and it's 0-1. All those shells of their former selves, Rollins hit just .224 this year. Colon first base side of the rubber, sets at the chest. 0-1. Rollins bounces it back to Colon. Could be 2. Throw to second for 1. Flores to first. 2. A double play. Rollins hit the one-hopper right back to Bartolo. Almost overled Wilmer Flores through the second base bag. Flores did a nice job to his left. Corral the ball, avoid a sliding Kendrick, and turn the double play. 2 outs and the base is empty.
You know, that was actually shocking to the extent that Colon didn't make a perfect throw. I have never seen Bartolo make anything less than an absolutely perfect throw to second base in situations like that. That one less than perfect, and they still turned it.
Here's Adrian Gonzalez, 1 for 2 with a single. He walked in the 3rd. First pitch. A strike from Colon, and it's 0-1. Colon's a tremendous athlete. We talk about it, and sometimes you can say that almost in jest, looking at his body frame, but he really is a fabulous athlete. We've seen him time and time again surprises. 0-1 pitch driven in the air, left center field, on the run Lagares, moving to the warning track, up to the wall, scales the wall, it's off the top of the fence and gone. A home run for Adrian Gonzalez as Lagares went all the way back, almost made the highlight reel play as he scaled the fence in left center field, but it's Gonzalez with the opposite field home run, and the Dodgers get a run back. It's 10-4. Gonzalez now has homered in 4 consecutive playoff series. And a great time for it if you're a Mets fan, because this one doesn't hurt you very much. A 6-run lead now as that ball just escaped the climbing Lagares in left center field. 2-out homer from Gonzalez. And the Mets with a 10-4 lead as Justin Turner bats. First pitch. Turner looks at a strike. New York Mets baseball brought to you by RE/MAX. RE/MAX agents are trained to help you find the perfect fit wherever you go, wherever you're heading, locally or globally. The 1-0 is low and away. That first pitch was a ball downstairs to Turner. And now 2-0. Go to RE/MAX.com to find an agent for all the things that move you. Each office independently owned and operated. 2 balls and no strikes. Colon's pitch. Turner takes a strike this time at the knees. And the count is 2-1. Turner has 2 more hits tonight, including a run scored. Colon downhill, the 2-1. There's another strike. Again, right around the kneecaps of Turner. And Colon's drawn even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. 7th inning, a run home. But the Mets lead 10-4. Crowd waving the orange rally towels here tonight at Citi Field. The 2-2. Swing and a foul off the end of the bat right side. still 2-2. Mets fans, don't miss the opportunity to be a part of the 2016 season. Place a deposit on a 2016 full or partial ticket plan today for the opportunity to select your 2016 seating location at our annual Select a Seat event this fall. Seat selections will be filled at the event in order of deposit dates, so reserve your place now by going to Mets.com/deposits today. Cologne's 2-2. Chopper left side, right waits for it, gloves the big bounce, takes a step, flings it to first in time. Turner's retired, and the Dodgers are done here in the top of the 7th. All about outs now. Bartolo Colon gets 3 here in the 7th. Lottery. Just like the Mets could be after tonight, the Cubs are up 2-1 on the Cardinals with a chance to finish up that series at Wrigley Field tomorrow. John Lackey will pitch for St. Louis on 3 days rest, just like Clayton Kershaw will for the Dodgers here tomorrow. The Cubs hit 6 home runs in their game today. Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, Jorge Soler, Anthony Rizzo, Dexter Fowler, and Starlin Castro all went deep. Michael Wacha took the loss. Jake Arrieta got the win, although he wasn't his usual unhittable self. The Cardinals did make it interesting with a couple of runs in the 9th inning, but the Cubs win 8-6 as they will play Game 4 at Wrigley tomorrow. Travis d'Arnaud will start the bottom of the 7th against Baez. d'Arnaud with one of the big hits tonight, that 2-run homer in the 3rd, plus an RBI single in the 2nd, which gave the Mets their first run. First pitch from Baez. d'Arnaud cues it foul off the end of his bat, right side, 0-1. Toronto beat Texas earlier 8-4. That division series tied at 2, heading back to Canada. Blue Jays jumped out to a 7-0 lead and hung on behind R.A. Dickey, although he didn't get the win. David Price helped Dickey get through the 5th, and it was Price who worked a couple of relief innings. Surprisingly, it won't be Price in Game 5 for the Blue Jays. It will be Marcus Stroman. No balls and 1 strike. Pitch upstairs, 1-1. Kansas City roared back late in Houston to knock off the Astros. An astounding comeback there. The Royals scored 5 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th to beat the Astros 9-6. Houston thought they had it, leading 6-2 after 7. Carlos Correa hit 2 home runs, but he also made a big error in that 8th inning. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt to d'Arnaud, 2-1. Wade Davis got the final 6 outs in that game for the Royals to maintain Kansas City, sending that series back home for a 5th and final game. The Games 5 in the American League will be on Wednesday. Just National League games tomorrow, Games 4 for both NLDS. The 2-1, swing and a miss. d'Arnaud late on the fastball, and it's 2-2.
Well, those networks really love the New York and L.A. markets, don't they? You could just as easily have put Cubs Cardinals prime time and moved this game up a little bit too, but they're going vice versa.
2 balls and 2 strikes on d'Arnaud. 3 RBIs in this game, including that 2-run homer in the 3rd. 2-2 on the way from Baez. Hit up the middle into center field, a base hit. d'Arnaud reaching out, cracking that ball behind Baez. 3rd hit for d'Arnaud tonight. And the Mets have a base runner with Wilmer Flores about to stand in. Yeah, the Cubs and Cardinals, ratings-wise, has actually seen better average viewers than the Mets and Dodgers. Although I think part of that is because the games in L.A. ended up being very late here on the East Coast. So that probably cut into some of the TV viewership. But the 2 National League Division Series have certainly rated very strongly, and Major League Baseball can expect, I would imagine, more of that no matter who advances to the League Championship Series on the National League side. And the 4 teams left are all very attractive from a TV viewership standpoint. Here's Flores. Singled and scored in the 2nd, doubled his last time. Baez the high set. First pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Flores getting the start with Ruben Tejada out for the postseason. We all saw the play more than once. Chase Utley sliding into second base and ended up breaking the fibula of Tejada,
who was here and introduced, coming out with the help of a cane before the game.
1 ball and no strikes. Baez's pitch downstairs, 2-0. One of the great traditions here at Citi Field. Opening day, you're down there introducing all the players. When you said Ruben Tejada's name this year, was kind of an icy reception. My, how things have changed 6 months later.
Ruben, by the way, the best news about him today is that apparently he will not need surgery to repair the break. It was a clean break.
2 balls and no strikes. Baez comes home. That's upstairs, 3-0. Juan Lagares on deck. Mets do get a better bat, certainly, with Flores in the lineup. .263 hitter on the year, 16 home runs. So certainly the more powerful of the 2 Mets shortstops. They lose a little bit defensively with Tejada not in there. And Flores presumably playing every day, although Matt Reynolds is on the roster. And we'll see if he gets any action here in this postseason. 3-0. Flores looks at a strike, 3-1. How about Matt Reynolds, who's spent all this season at AAA, had a very good spring for the Mets, nearly did make the roster, made it interesting certainly as far as the decision to send him down to Vegas. Made the All-Star team at Las Vegas, but didn't really have the big season people were expecting after his breakout last year. Now on the playoff roster as the backup shortstop, despite never appearing in a major league game.
And probably not a defensive replacement for Flores. Back in '86, Wayne, the Mets moved Kevin Elster up from Double-A to get him onto the roster at the end of August so that he would be eligible to come in and play defense, allowing the Mets to pinch hit for Rafael Santana. A little bit of a different reason.
3-1. Flores takes up and in, ball 4. The Mets have some base runners here in the 7th inning. Darno with the base hit. Flores draws a walk. And now the batter will be Juan Lagares. Your Tri-Honda dealers know these streets better than anyone, and they have the perfect Honda model for you. Visit TriHondaDealers.com. Check out their best deals today.
Did you see Edgardo Alfonso here before the game?
I did.
It was just kind of funny. I was just thinking his TV was showing a close-up from back on July 29th of Wilmer Flores crying. Edgardo Alfonso, also like Flores, from Venezuela, and they're pretty close. They speak regularly. And even a week ago, Fonzie said he still calls Flores a crybaby.
And Wilmer Flores, who's crying on the field, will be etched in one of the big moments in 2015, as it turns out. Coming back the next day and hitting that walk-off home run against Washington, really the turning point in this Mets season, that 3-game series against the Nationals, July 31st to August 2nd, a 3-game sweep, sent the Mets on their path to the National League East Championship as the Mets just flat outplayed Washington in the final 2 months of the season. That's why the Mets are here. The Nationals are not. Washington's looking for a new manager, while the Mets could be, by the end of tonight, 1 victory away from the National League Championship Series.
Did you see where they're taking Randy Knorr, who had been the bench coach, and they're making him a senior assistant in the front office? A lot of people thought he'd be in line to become the manager.
The Nationals have no coaches left. They all got let go. As Lagares stands in here against Baez. First pitch. Low fastball, ball 1. Michael Conforto is in the on-deck circle. He'll bat for Bartolo Colon, who gave the Mets 6 outs out of the bullpen tonight after Matt Harvey worked the first 5 innings. Mets lead 10-4. Lagares, right-handed batter against the righty Pedro Baez. Baez comes up with the high set left leg kick. And the 1-0. Strike on the outer third, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike on Lagares. Mentioned Baez, a converted position player. He was an infielder at one point in his minor league career. Chris Hatcher, who we've seen a couple of times already in this series, used to be a catcher in the minor league system for the Dodgers. Even Joel Peralta, a long time ago, was a position player. So 3 relievers the Dodgers have that were once position players. 1-1. Lagares bounces one foul behind home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kenley Jansen, forgot about him. A former catcher as well.
Yeah, switch hitter.
Who had one of the famous plays in the World Baseball Classic many years ago as a catcher, throwing out a base runner to help the Netherlands beat the Dominican Republic in a major upset. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lagares. 2 on and nobody out here in the 7th inning. Mets lead by 6. 1-2. Upstairs, 2-2. Baez was probably the best hitter of the group. One year hit 16 home runs and actually made some noise at the Double-A level where they thought that he might have an opportunity to get to the major leagues as an infielder. All of a sudden he was on the mound and he got to the big leagues much faster that way. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Lagares. Pitch. That's outside, 3-2. Lagares has a big hit in this game, a double in the 4th inning, which kick-started a Mets rally. All the runs came in bunches, 4 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and 4 in the 4th. Lagares scored on Daniel Murphy's 2-out base hit. Remember, the Dodgers intentionally walked David Wright with 2 outs in the 4th. Murphy got a hit to knock in Lagares, and then Cespedes put this game out of reach seemingly with a 3-run homer. This place went ballistic. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch. Fouled back. Good cut from Lagares. 3-2. Lagares really didn't have much of a season at the plate. The Mets were hoping for a little bit more offensively from Lagares. Even defensively at times this season. Did not show quite the same range or the stellar defense that he played in 2014, which got him not only a Gold Glove award, but a pretty good contract during spring training. He signed a 4-year deal. One scout said at the time that Lagares would make that contract worth it for the Mets even if he didn't hit. 3-2. Up and away, ball 4. Lagares draws a walk, and the Mets trying to add on to their lead. Already up 10-4. They've loaded the bases with nobody out here in the 7th. The batter will be Michael Conforto. You mentioned Edgardo Alfonzo. Well, until Saturday night in L.A., Conforto hit a home run. Before that, Alfonzo was the only Met ever to homer in his first playoff at bat. Don Mattingly doesn't want to see Baez face Conforto. J.P. Howell will be summoned from the Dodger bullpen. This call to the pen brought to you by Lexus of Massapequa and Lexus of Rockville Center. Drive south for savings. Baez didn't add much to the equation for the Dodgers tonight. 2 walks and a single against the 3 batters he faced. Now J.P. Howell will face Michael Conforto with the bases loaded after a station ID on the WOR Mets radio network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Len Berman and Todd Schnitt in the morning have tickets to Mets-Dodgers Game 4. Listen to 710 WOR tomorrow morning, 6 till 10 for your chance to win.
With Howie Rose, I'm Wayne Randazzo in for Josh Lewin tonight. Mets lead the Dodgers 10-4. It's the bottom of the 7th. And the Mets have the bases loaded with nobody out. Conforto against Howell, lefty versus lefty. Dodgers made a double switch. Corey Seager's now at 3rd. Justin Turner out of the game. And the first pitch from Howell. Breaking ball, strike to Conforto. It's 0-1. Dodgers infield is in. It's also overshifted. 3 on the right side. Only Seager, the 3rd baseman, remains on the left side. Outfield bunched, playing fairly deep as Conforto bats against a left-hander, J.P. Howell. 1 strike. Howell kicks and deals. Conforto whiffs on a good slider, 0-2. Mets have kind of kept Conforto away from left-handed pitching. But in this situation, up 6 late in this game, bases loaded, no outs. Good opportunity for Conforto to face a tough lefty in Howell. Conforto during the regular season, 3 hits and 14 at-bats against a left-handed pitcher. No balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. That's lifted in the air, left center field. We'll see if it's deep enough for a run. Hernandez backs up, he makes the catch. Tagging from 3rd, Darno. On his way to 3rd, Flores. Moving up to 2nd base safely is Lagares as Darno scores. And the Mets do tack on to the lead. It's 11-4 on the sac fly by Conforto. Hernandez's throw went in toward 3rd base as Flores took off. The throw was cut off by Rollins, who sent it back to 2nd. And Lagares able to sneak up and get that base as well. Hernandez probably should have just let Flores go to 3rd without the throw. But he gives up the extra base, and now the Mets with one in, still two in scoring position, and their lead up back to 7.
Even that's encouraging from Conforto, and I think they're considering reviewing this play at second. No pitch has been even anticipated yet by J.P. Howell. All the Dodgers are just staring into the L.A. dugout to see if Don Mattingly is going to appeal, but they're supposed to do this within 30 seconds, and they've been on the phone a long time down there.
Maybe they got a busy signal.
Maybe. They're going to take a look at it. But again, I think that was longer than you're supposed to be given to decide whether or not you're going to review. But again, they're not going to split those kinds of hairs in a postseason game.
The start of this game was delayed by about 5 minutes. And for a while there, we had no idea why that was the case. But it was because the Dodgers replay phone was not working. So now it is working, fully operational as we were told, and now the Dodgers utilizing that replay with the umpires taking a look to see if Juan Lagares made it safely into second base or not.
I think also, Wayne, it's about did his hands come off the bag before his feet were planted on it, and slid. He got it with his left spike, then that came off the bag, and he went with his hands, and that's the question, I think, with the hands on the bag when Kendrick put the tag on him.
Yeah,
I can't tell, frankly.
Slid over the base with his initial attempt. His front leg did nick the base, but then went right past it. The right knee and the hands of Lagares kind of met the base simultaneously as the tag came down from Kendrick. Either way, the run will count. If Lagares is out, it would just be the second out of the inning. It would probably take the RBI away from Conforto because it would be considered a double play. They also could be looking to see if the runner tagged from third base appropriately. It looks like Flores did tag at the right time once the center fielder Hernandez made the catch. So the umpire is taking a long look to see if Lagares should be out or safe at second. He was ruled safe initially as the Dodgers take this opportunity to challenge. And it looks like now the umpires are ready to make a decision. Lagares is safe. Sac fly for Conforto, scoring d'Arnaud, and the Mets with runners on second and third. Still just one out in this inning. And the batter will be Curtis Granderson. That run charged to Baez. Also his responsibility are the two men in scoring position. Granderson with an enormous hit in the bottom of the second. The Mets got more runs certainly in the other innings against Brett Anderson and Alex Wood. 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth, or 4 in the fourth. But that 3-run double by Granderson in the second gave the Mets the lead. And it probably would have felt like a very squandered opportunity for the Mets had they not gotten those 3 runs. Howell sets. First pitch to Granderson. A strike on the inner half, 0-1. The second inning started with 4 straight hits. The Mets had a run home with the bases loaded and no outs. But Juan Lagares grounded into a fielder's choice. Matt Harvey struck out. Had Granderson been retired, the Mets would have settled for just 1, an inning where they certainly looked like they should have had more. 0-1 pitch. Up and in as Granderson backs away. Crowd oohs and ahs as Howell goes upstairs, dangerously close to Granderson.
Well, no intent deemed by the umpires. Remember, the crew chief is the second base umpire, Gary Cederstrom.
1 ball, 1 strike on Granderson. Pitch. Wave and a miss on a breaking ball, 1-2. Do you think, Howie, we talked about this earlier, if Utley would be fed to the wolves here, do you think maybe Don Mattingly would reconsider and just say, let's just get it out of the way so these people aren't chanting, we want Utley again tomorrow, and this continues to be a distraction?
Well, you know, Utley was offered, at least according to reports, a 1-game suspension, and he said no before they made it 2.
1-2 pitch. That's lined in the air, left field, it's deep. Crawford back forward to the warning track, to the wall, it's off the wall. Flores scores, right behind him Lagares. He sprints to the plate, he comes home. 2-run double for Granderson, and the Mets now lead it 13-4. Five RBIs tonight for Curtis Granderson on 2 doubles. The first one off the right center field wall. This one banged off the bottom of the fence and left. Flores and Lagares both scoring easily. All 3 runs this inning charged to Baez. And the Mets making sure the Dodgers don't get any ideas of a comeback tonight. A 9-run Mets lead as they put up a baker's dozen, and now David Wright at the plate. Randerson leads away from second. Wright has walked twice tonight. First pitch. Breaking ball, strike from Howell, 0-1.
Granderson hit a .165 all year against lefties. He had 2 hits off of Kershaw in game 1, and here he's got 2 doubles and 5 runs batted in against left-handed pitchers.
1 strike on Wright. Pitch. Chopper left side, softly hit. Seager charges, gloves at belt tie, fires to first. Gonzalez lunges over the foul line to handle the throw. Wright's retired. There are 2 outs. Randerson still at second. Mets lead 13-4. The innings where they have scored, they have put up crooked numbers. 4 in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth inning, and now a 3-run 7th as Daniel Murphy will bat. It's been amazing to watch these Mets left-handed batters succeed the way they have in this series against left-handed pitching. Murphy, too, homered off Kershaw in game 1. Has an RBI single here tonight. 13 runs on 13 hits. Granderson at second with 2 down. Pitch from Howell. Murphy, a good cut, fouls it off behind home plate. No balls and 1 strike. Granderson ties a Mets record for RBIs in a postseason game with Edgardo Alfonso, Carlos Delgado, and Rusty Staub. No balls and a strike on Murphy. 2 outs. Pitch on the way. Murphy chops it softly left side. Rollins charges, gloves it on the run, throws to first. Murphy is out, and the Mets are done here in the 7th. But a franchise record, 13 runs in a postseason game for the Mets tonight. 3 here in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. Mets 13, Dodgers 4. Play-by-play the rest of the way. Here's Howie.
Thanks, Wayne. Josh. Oh, yeah, I remember him. I think he'll be back tomorrow, won't he? It'll be nice for him to join us during this division series. But anyway, you mentioned Jerry's Familia potentially pitching the 9th inning. And it is a bit of a conundrum, I'm sure. You want to give him some work so that he doesn't go in tomorrow night, potentially on 3 days rest. That's one thing. It's understandable. Here's Ethier. And he takes the first pitch breaking ball for a called strike from Addison Reed. 0-1. But can you imagine pitching with a 13-4 lead in the 9th inning and something goes wrong physically? That's a bunch of questions you don't want to have to answer. The 0-1 to Ethier taken outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, that doesn't mean he wouldn't use him for just the reasons that you brought up, Wayne. But could you imagine if some unfortunate situation like that were to evolve, pitching with a 9-run lead? The 1-1 taken inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. I mean, that's why I would think, you know what? He's pitched plenty this year. I don't think the extra day off is going to make that much difference. Just save him for tomorrow.
Well, I only bring it up because Reed's in there. This could easily be Eric Goodell right now.
Absolutely.
Too.
No, I understand. The 2-1 changeup taken outside, 3-1. And I think for Reed, some of this might also be for his own psyche as much as anything, because he gave up those back-to-back doubles after the incident at second base on Saturday night. 3-1 pitch. That's in for a called strike of the knees, a full count, a fastball. And it may well be just get him back on track, get him back on the horse, and then take it from there, because when he's inherited runners, it hasn't worked as well as when he started an inning. Payoff pitch drilled in the air to right center. Lagares on his horse gets there and makes the catch. 1 away. He just makes plays like that look so easy because his instincts are so good, his jump is so good, and he never seems to be in overdrive to have to make the play on a play like that. He runs to that spot, and there's the baseball.
It looked like a base hit off the bat, and considering not that Cespedes has played a bad center field, but what we have seen from center fielders, even on other teams, that looked like a ball that was going to drop. Lagares got to it without even much of a dive or anything needed spectacularly.
Here's Crawford, 1 for 3, and he takes a called strike. 0-1. So Reed in to protect this 13-4 lead, just as Norman Seabrook and the Corrections Officers Benevolent Association protect and patrol the toughest precincts in New York. 0-1 to Crawford, taken outside 1-1. Those are the jails, Coba, New York's boldest. And so you can also turn some thought and attention towards Steven Matz. The 1-1 to Crawford. Fouled straight back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marcus Stroman, another Long Islander, will pitch the decisive Game 5 for the Blue Jays against the Rangers. And Ward, Melville, Steven Matz tomorrow night. The 1-2 fouled back to the screen by Crawford, who was jammed. It's been quite a run for Steven Matz this year alone, and there have been enough ups and downs to make him feel like he's been on a pogo stick. The 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball fouled back to the screen. The biggest up, I'm sure, was the Major League debut against the Cincinnati Reds, when he not only won the game but contributed 3 hits in the process. But there have been downs. The lat injury and then the injury to his back recently. 1-2 pitch, broken bat, soft liner, back to the mound, caught by Reed. 2 away. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and Crawford hit it weakly.
Ball was hit so softly, Reed acted like it was a soft toss back from the umpire. He just reacted, waited for it, and dropped into his glove.
So 2 gone, and Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, will be the hitter. It was Grandal. Remember, he was 4 for 86 coming into this game, who had the hit for the Dodgers with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning. First pitch to the switch hitter, batting left, taken low, 1-0. Single to right that brought in 2, and then Granderson's throwing error brought Crawford home with a 3rd run. Since then, he's flying to right, struck out. The 1-0 fouled back to the screen, 1-1. So certainly there's got to be some question, too, in the minds of the Mets as to exactly how far Mets can go tomorrow night. Threw 88 pitches in the game in the Instructional League last week to assure everyone that he's good to go. But he hasn't pitched a whole lot of baseball over this last month, 6 weeks.
We really haven't seen much of John Neeson this series. Certainly he'll be the guy to piggyback Matz if need be.
1-1 to Grandal. Now the pitch. Swing and a foul coming straight back out of play. 1-2. But if the Mets hold on here, they'll have the ability to massage their bullpen in such a manner that should a Game 5 be necessary, they'll have all the big guns ready to go, starting with DeGrom on full rest. And I'll bet you that's one of the reasons Harvey came out after 5 tonight, even though he was nearing 100 in his pitch count. Syndergaard ready to go, I would imagine, if they need him out of the pen. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, side retired. Reed with a hard slider punches out Grandal. Dodgers go in order. Middle of the 8th. Mets 13, Dodgers 4. Left-handers Kershaw and Matz in Game 4. First, Luis Avilan, the former Braves lefty, comes on to work the last of the 8th, facing Yoenis Cespedes. 3 for 4, including a 3-run homer. And the first pitch ripped foul and hard down the third baseline into the seats right behind the tarp. And a very loud strike. 0-1 to Cespedes. Yoenis Cespedes, the first Met ever with 3 hits, 3 runs scored, and 3 RBIs in 1 postseason game. 0-1 the count. And Granderson fouls it back to the screen, 0-2. Avilan doing the work for the Dodgers bullpen, number 5 out of the pen tonight, in relief of the starter Brett Anderson, who left early, went 3, giving up 7 hits and 6 runs, and that's after the Dodgers had given him a 3-0 lead against Matt Harvey in the top of the 2nd inning. Harvey stands to be the winner, and it won't be Familia in the 9th. It's Eric Goodell throwing. The 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball outside. 1-2 to Cespedes. Nissan's an easier choice than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. Now get great offers across their full line. Shop at your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another hard hit foul ball. Like a laser into those lower level seats behind the third base dugout, about 20 rows back. Most fans aggressively pursue foul balls on that one and lots of others hit by Cespedes. They just try to get out of the way and pick it up if it's anywhere close. 3 infielders on the left side for the Dodgers. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a softly hit ground ball to the left side. Picked up by Rollins, the shortstop. Out at first. Well, Cespedes beat a throw earlier when Rollins took too much time. Here he got it away quickly. Cespedes looked safe to the naked eye. They call him out. And let's see if the Mets are going to do anything about that. Obviously, they will take the hit. The Dodgers are not going to do anything. Just looking at the replay. And so Lucas Duda will be the batter. Let's do an ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
I'm Lauren Garrett, WOR New York. A mother of 5 is killed when a Coca-Cola truck crashes into a bus stop in the Bronx. Details after the game.
So here is Duda. And the first pitch breaking ball for a called strike. 0-1. So Rollins gets Cespedes at first. And now Duda 1 out of 4. Second batter to face Luis Avalon, and 3 infielders on the right side against him. 1-0 pitch. Curve in for a called strike. It's 1-1. Your Tri-Honda dealers know these streets better than anyone, and they have the perfect Honda model for you. Visit TriHondaDealers.com to check out their best deals today. The 1-1 to Duda. Curve a little bit high and tight. 2-1. I always thought when we got to a night like this, the Mets finally playing in a postseason game at Citi Field, that it would be something like a sea of blue in the stands. And there certainly are a lot of Mets fans here wearing some shade of blue, usually dark Mets blue. 2-1 on the way. Curve ripped foul right into the Mets dugout. That had a couple. In fact, Cespedes was the most vulnerable, standing right near the steps. He just throws his arms up in mock anger at Lucas Duda. The count 2-2. Well, it seemed like there was a lot of orange in the park tonight as well. 7-line Army representing in orange T-shirts and lots of other orange material in the crowd tonight. Some wearing an orange sweatshirt with a blue hood. So they've got everything covered. 2-2. Now the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Duda down on strikes. Change up there from Avalon, and they're 2 men away. And that'll bring up Travis d'Arnaud. And if anyone really needed, I think, a breakout night offensively from the Mets tonight, it was d'Arnaud. He came in 0 for 7 in the series after striking out all 3 times up on Saturday. But tonight he had an RBI single in the second, a 2-run homer in the third, another base hit in the 7th. He scored 3 runs. And again, d'Arnaud aggressive, going early in the count for those first 2 hits tonight. First pitch is taken low outside, ball 1. The 2-run homer was on a first pitch breaking ball from starter Brett Anderson in the 3rd inning with 2 out. That extended the Mets' 4-3 lead to 6-3. Now Avalon to the belt. Here's the 1-0. And that breaking ball in for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Travis with Wilmer Flores on deck. Both American League series will go the distance. Here's the 1-1 pitch to d'Arnaud. Swing on a looping foul ball into the seats downstairs behind first. 1-2 to Travis. Kansas City came from 4 runs down in the 8th inning. They beat the Astros 9-6 to send that series back to Kansas City for a 5th and final game. And Toronto, who lost the first 2 at home, went to Arlington and won the next 2 on the road. 8-4 Blue Jays today. 1-2 to d'Arnaud. High and tight a fastball. 2-2. And the Cubs took a 2-1 lead over St. Louis, winning 8-6 today. They had 6 home runs in the process. They'll try to close it out in Game 4 tomorrow at Wrigley. 2-2, from Avalon to d'Arnaud on the way. Outside, full count. That scoreboard update sponsored by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Take advantage of exceptional lease and finance offers on select 2015 models. Visit MBUSA.com today. Wayne Randazzo has gone downstairs to get ready for some post-game interviews, which we'll have for you. Payoff pitch to d'Arnaud. Swung on and missed strike 3. Got him with a fastball. Side retired. 2 strikeouts for Avalon. Mets go in order. And at the end of 8, him ineligible for a potential Game 5 and also force the Dodgers to play 1 short. But Mets would rather that eventuality did not even occur. That depends on how Steven Matz fares against Kershaw tomorrow. Mets were very happy to see the bats come back to life tonight. They needed this, if only to relax those hitters a little bit. And Eric Adell will pitch the 9th inning, facing Enrique Hernandez, who's 0 for 3. First pitch fastball taken outside for ball 1. Adell, of course, went to UCLA. He is from San Mateo, California. Now that's up north. That's near San Francisco. The 1-0 pitch, swing and a liner to center. That's a base hit. So Hernandez gets the 9th inning started for the Dodgers with a leadoff single. And the prodigious Corey Seager, who had quite a month of September, will be the batter now for the first time tonight. Remember, he came in as part of a double switch when the Dodgers went to their bullpen for J.P. Howell in the 7th inning. Seager 1 for 8 in the series after going 0 for 4 on Saturday. First pitch to him, a fastball outside for ball 1. Seager made his debut on the 3rd of September after hitting .337 September into early October. He started the first 2 games, but not tonight. The 1-0 to the left-hand hitter, line towards second, over the glove of a leaping Murphy and into right field. Base hit picked up by Granderson. He'll throw back into Murphy. Going first to third is Hernandez. Seager aboard at first. And his single gives the Dodgers runners at the corners and nobody out. And Howie Kendrick coming up. So back-to-back hits here off of Goodell. And again, it's rather evident the Mets want no part of having to get Jerry's Familia up tonight. They're a long ways away from even having to think about that with a 9-run lead. But Terry Collins would like to make this 9th inning as uneventful as possible and know that he's got a full complement of relievers at that back end ready to go tomorrow. Here's Kendrick, breaking ball in the dirt. Did he go around? He did. It's strike 1. Scoreboard's got 0-1. Not a very demonstrative call made by the home plate umpire Greg Gibson. Kendrick 1 for 4. Infield looking for 2. Murphy shading towards the bag at second with a right-hand batter up. Runners at the corners, no out. The 0-1 curveball, and that's high and inside. So on the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on the former Angel, Howie Kendrick. Don't see a lot of moves made between the Dodgers and the Angels, what they call the freeway rivalry. Goodell, the 4th pitcher the Mets have used. Now the pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by d'Arnaud, and the count 2-1. Addison Reed, starting an inning in the 8th, worked a perfect inning, striking out 1. Remember, his issues have come when he's inherited base runners. Again, another night off for Tyler Clippard. He'll have only worked once going into tomorrow. 2-1 on the way. Foul back to the screen, 2-2. And I really think as much rest as the Mets can give Clippard right now. On one hand, you figure the better he'll be because he's struggled lately. And, you know, he had a wonky back late in the year. He claims that's fine right now. The only problem with giving a guy who throws a lot of changeups a lot of rest is that those pitchers say they need to pitch a lot for the change to be effective. 2-2 to Kendrick is pop foul, coming back into the seats downstairs, right side. This 9th inning's presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. What's football rich? It's wings, fun, and your choice of 21 sauces and seasonings. Cold beer served right to your seat. And watching all the football action on wall-to-wall TVs with your best friends. Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports. Goodell to the belt. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball fouled back to the screen. Kendrick was on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Talking about pitchers who specialize in the changeup and needing to throw a lot for the pitch to be effective. And believe it or not, Jerry's Familia is starting to loosen up in the Mets bullpen. I'll tell you about that changeup in a moment, though. Here's the 2-2 to Kendrick. Fastball popped up outside first, slicing towards the stands and foul ground and out of play. So it's still 2-2 to Kendrick. Johnny Franco's in the ballpark tonight. Will tell you that the more he worked, the more tired his arm got, the better it would be for the changeup. Your arm speed ideally is the same. You might not have the strength in the shoulder to get the same, say, speed, velocity on the fastball, but for the changeup, you like a lot of work. 2-2 to Kendrick. Goodell sets, now the pitch. Swinging a drive in the air to left. Back goes Cespedes, still going, turns around, watches. It's gone, a home run. Right off the railing above the orange line in left field, a 3-run homer for Howie Kendrick. And so it is 13-7 New York. On Monday night, we have a football score. Kendrick thought that ball might have bounced over or would be called a double, so he delayed coming around second base, but now he comes home. Eric Adell has faced 3 batters. They've all scored. It was 13-4. Now it's 13-7. Familia up in the pen. Dan Warthen started out, but he'll be replaced by Terry Collins. And Terry's going over to the home plate ump. They may want to look at that again. I haven't seen a replay yet. Getting a look at one now. A fan reached out. Okay, that's what they're talking about. A fan reached out over the railing above the orange line, and they're trying to determine whether or not he reached far enough so that that ball would have hit the wall and perhaps stayed in play. And that's what they're going to review. So we will get a video challenge here. And that's going to be close. The Mets may have a point here. It might be that that fan's glove came down far enough so that it reached over the orange line, at which point it becomes fan interference. Now, since the ball, if in fact he made contact with it below the line, would not have left the ballpark, then I would imagine you'd call a 2-base hit. But what do you do with the runner at first, who was Corey Seager? That's where these things always come into play. If you say the ball should be in play, and it looks like that might have hit the orange line first, well, then you got a decision to make. Cespedes, seeing the call, went through with it and just assumed it would be a home run, and now it is confirmed via video review. They're calling home run, and so it is in fact 13-7. Now, does that mean Dan Warthen gets to pop back out of the dugout? Jimmy Rollins will be the batter. But Jerry's Familia is up and throwing in the Mets bullpen. Eric Adell, single, home run allowed. And it's 13-7, and now Rollins, who is 0 for 4. Adell works from the stretch with nobody on, and the first pitch breaking ball in for a called strike, 0-1. Crowd getting a little antsy. It's understandable. It's 12:15. School tomorrow, work tomorrow, and this place is maybe a little more than half filled now. The 0-1 fastball low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Remember, this was an 8:37 start time, and even that was a couple of minutes late while they had to wait to get that bullpen to third base dugout telephone line fixed. 1-1 to Rollins, line to left field. That's a base hit. Rollins right on that fastball, turns and holds on. And here comes Terry Collins. Well, you can certainly understand starting Goodell here in the 9th inning. He had a 13-4 lead and didn't want to have to go to Familia. There's no situation where there's a save at stake on the line here for an incoming pitcher, but looks like Goodell is gone anyway. And this pitching change is sponsored by the New York Lottery. Well, it is Jerry's Familia coming on to pitch for the Mets here in the 9th inning. Didn't think you'd hear that at 13-4, did you? Eric Adell faced 4 batters. Single, 3-run home run, single, And Terry Collins says, you know what? Familia had yesterday off. He'll have Wednesday off. Get out there and pitch. And so here he is, Jerry's Familia, who tied the franchise record with 43 saves during the year. Again, no save situation here, facing Adrian Gonzalez, who's 2 out of 3, including a home run. 13-7 New York. No out, pardon me, here in the 9th inning. And the first pitch to Gonzalez taken for a called strike, 0-1. Scoreboard had 1 out there, but 4 batters have come to the plate, and they have all had hits. So Goodell will have a postseason ERA that they call infinity. Familia to the belt. The 0-1 to Gonzalez, swinging a tapper foul back behind home plate. It's 0-2. Mets not concerned at all about Rollins, the runner at first, so Lucas Duda playing behind him. Familia picked up a 4-out save in game 1 of this series in Los Angeles. On Friday night, he got Justin Turner to line out with a runner aboard and 2 out in the 8th inning. And a tying run, Turner at the plate. Then he worked a 1-2-3 ninth. 0-2. Now the pitch to Gonzalez. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a split. And Gonzalez may be claiming that he tipped that ball, which was in the dirt. And they're asking to, at least Gonzalez is, to look at the video board to see what it looks like on replay. Although you can't challenge balls and strikes, you can look and see if you've got a good view from behind home plate at a high definition board out there, and we're not going to even see that. Justin Ruggiano is going to come up to bat for Luis Avalon. So Ruggiano, the former Tampa Bay Ray and Houston Astro and Miami Marlin, will bat here for Avalon with 1 out. 13-7 New York. Rollins the runner at first. Outfield around towards right-hand batter. And the first pitch, waved at and missed. Tried to hold up at a slider, could not. And the count 0-1 to Ruggiano. Ruggiano in 21 games with the Dodgers hit .291 with 4 homers and 12 runs batted in. Familia sets at the letters. The pitch, swing and a miss, and another slider darting down and away, and the count 0-2. 87 miles an hour on the slider. He'll throw the split at 93, and he'll throw his fastball, and he's even gotten it up to triple digits, but usually it's 97, 98. Rollins at first. Mets paying him no mind. Duda lined up behind him. Familia brings the hands together. Holds the set. Now the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a roller up the first base line, a foul ball. He was jammed there and had an inside-out swing. Had that 97-mile-an-hour sinker. Gianna thought he might have broken his bat, but did not. Mets outfield around towards right. Murphy, the second baseman, shading towards the bag. 0-2 the count to Ruggiano. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high pop-up outside third. Foul ball right on the grass. Backs up. Makes the catch. 2 men away. So Familia pops up the pinch hitter Ruggiano. And the Dodgers now down to their last out. Andre Ethier will be the batter. Only 2 Dodgers remain on the bench. A.J. Ellis, the backup catcher, and Chase Utley. And by the way, Don Mattingly said before the game, you might have noted that in that play at second base on Saturday night, Utley hit his head pretty hard against first Tejada, and then as Utley fell back onto the dirt. And there was some concerns, well, maybe there was some concussion symptoms or something from that happened to Utley that might preclude him from playing, but they said no, just a baseball decision. So here's Ethier, and the first pitch, fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. In fact, Mattingly was asked about it in a couple of different ways. A, was he hurt? Or B, are you keeping him out of the lineup simply because you don't want to expose him to all the vitriol? And he said, nope, had nothing to do with injury, had nothing to do with the fans. So 0-1 to Ethier. 2 out of 4. Left-hand batter. Rollins at first, 2 out. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-2. There's that hard split at 92, and those who remain among the paid crowd of 44,276 on their feet. Orange towels waving in the wind. Mets 13, Dodgers 7. Familia sets. Now the 0-2 to Ethier. High, a fastball, just raised his eye level there. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. He dialed that up to 97 miles an hour. Barry Collins has no compunctions, no doubts, no hesitations about using Familia for more than a 3-out save, and here with a big lead tonight. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swinging a broken bat chopper back to the mound. Familia's got it. Trots to first. Underhands to Duda. Put it in the books. The New York Mets have taken a 2-1 lead in the National League Division Series over the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they'll have an opportunity to wrap it up in Game 4 here at Citi Field. But tonight it was Harvey and the bats, and mostly the bats, that did the damage as the Mets go up 2-1 in the 9th inning for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 1 left. The final score, the New York Mets 13 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 7. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WOR Mix Radio Network, driven by your Tri Honda dealers.